Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Beast Girl, starting with a contract with the school beauty's mother. Chapter 81. I know, Instructor Gong told us on the way. Fang Cheng's words directly disrupted Gong Yu's plan to blackmail him for a favor. Gong Yu was stunned. You were really lying with your eyes open. When did I tell you that? You did it on purpose, right? Now that you have said that, how can I say the rest? At this time, Mu Yunxi, who heard the noise, ran out and saw that Fang Cheng and his mother were safe and sound. She was delighted. Mom, Fang Cheng, you are back. Fang Cheng said hello to her and slipped away. Gong Yu, that woman, wanted to catch him from the beginning. I don't know why. But in order to avoid making mistakes, it is better to slip away first. About an hour later, Teacher Mu came back. When she opened the door, she didn't see Fang Cheng. When she was wondering, she heard the sound of water in the bathroom. It turned out that he was taking a bath. Gently opening the bathroom door, the warm light sprinkled in the bathroom, filled with light water vapor, and seeing Fang Cheng taking a bath, she couldn't help but smile peacefully. She gently rolled up her sleeves and came to the bathtub. At this time, Fang Cheng took off the towel covering his face and smiled. Why are you back so soon? Maybe there is a generation gap. I can't talk to them. Mu Yao knelt beside the bathtub, put her hands in the water, and gently touched Fang Cheng's shoulders. The slender fingers were sometimes gentle and sometimes powerful, as if playing a soothing piece of music, each with endless tenderness and care. As the strength appropriate, Fang Cheng closed his eyes slightly, enjoying the gentle touch, and hummed with a look of satisfaction. Ms. Mu smiled slightly and continued to massage Fang Cheng, as if this was a very important and happy thing for her. After a while, Fang Cheng finally couldn't help asking, do you have anything to say to me? Why do you ask that? Fang Cheng smiled slightly, opened his eyes and looked at Mu Yao, and saw that her eyes were full of doubts. You forgot that I'm your beastmaster. If I can't even tell that you're thinking about something, then I'm not a very competent beastmaster. Hate it. Mu Yao gently pushed Fang Cheng, and then said in a thoughtful tone, it shouldn't be a big deal. About that Gong Yu. Or shall she? Let's talk about Gong Yu first. I think she came to see you on purpose. Did you really not know her before? Teacher Mu looked at Fang Cheng seriously, as if he wanted to see if he was lying from the subtle changes on his face. Fang Cheng smiled and said, why do I smell a sour taste in your words? Mu Yao said shyly, how can it be? You are talking nonsense. Fang Cheng laughed, no, I have never seen her. What else did you find out? I heard that she is not a beastmaster. What do you think of her talent? I think I know her purpose. Fang Cheng asked back, what do you think of her? I think she should be a good person. Although she looks a little strong, she is an instructor of the Longguo Jing'an division without an official heir. She should be a good person to get along with. Only the first you are so sure after just one meeting. Aren't you afraid that she is just pretending? With you here, what am I afraid of? Besides, if she becomes your beast girl, no matter her experience or identity background, it will only benefit you, not harm you. Fang Cheng laughed. That makes sense. Okay, don't press it down and wash it together. Oh, don't, there is one more thing. Let's talk about Xiao Shi later. Because of the disappearance of players, and not just one or two, but dozens of people disappeared collectively, this session of the City Youth Competition ended one day in advance. With the opening of the space gate, everyone returned to the Yucheng Beast Control Square again. Then there was the award ceremony, and Fang Cheng won the first place without any suspense. When Fang Cheng stood on the podium, the people in the audience and all those who were watching the live broadcast were all upset. In this session of the City Youth Competition, the Shentu family, Shuangguang Guild, and Shenqi Guild, who were considered to have the best chance of winning the championship, disappeared or were eliminated, and in the end, a student took advantage of it. But some people don't think so, thinking that Fang Cheng is brave and resourceful. He accomplished an unprecedented feat, leading a group of students to successfully achieve the feat of stealing the opponent. You must know that in the City Youth Competition, the students of the Dragon Kingdom have always been synonymous with sheep, chickens and unlucky people, but the appearance of Fang Cheng made them see a group of wolves. Although this incident only happened in the small Yucheng, this unprecedented breakthrough is enough to shock the entire Dragon Kingdom. Although Fang Cheng's victory this time was due to luck, it can never erase his outstanding strength. As for the top 3 that everyone is sure of being kicked out this time, is it related to him? Tisk. How is it possible? He represented the 11th middle school in the competition this time. A small middle school cannot have such ability. If it is said that Fang Cheng did it personally, it is even more impossible. Let's not talk about the 2 major guilds of Shuangguang and Shenqi. Just say that the Shentu family hired 20 mercenaries this time. How can he, a student, be their opponent? Anyway, if this matter is related to Fang Cheng, no one believes it. As for the people from the Shentu family and the 2 major guilds, Shenqi and Shuangguang, they became the focus of the Jing'an division at this award ceremony. Although they all hated Fang Cheng, no one dared to act rashly. They could only watch him go up to the stage to receive the award with a smile, and then leave with the award with a smile. Among the 3 prizes, Fang Cheng chose the S-level Beast Soul Crystal and the Supernatural Crystal. The S-level Supernatural Crystal can allow you to awaken another S-level Supernatural Power, or upgrade the B-level Lightning Supernatural Power to S-level. As for the S-level Beast Soul Crystal, of course it is to upgrade Teacher Mu's skills, and when Teacher Mu reaches the next level, he will automatically awaken a new skill, and this Beast Soul Crystal is just right for use. I didn't expect you to really get the first place, Wu Zhong said to Fang Cheng with a look of emotion. Fang Cheng smiled lightly. Do you regret it now? Let me participate in the city youth competition as a student. Ah, this. Wu Zhong scratched his head awkwardly. To be honest, he really regretted it. In Yucheng's city youth competition, Lingqi Guild has never won the first place. This year, there was a chance to rewrite this history, but it was intercepted by Zhou Zhanyang. This is all his own fault. Xiao Fang, don't pay attention to him. Tang Li pushed Wu Zhong away and patted Fang Cheng on the shoulder and said, I promised you that as long as you can get the first place, you can choose any A-level martial arts in the guild. Let's go back. I will take you to choose martial arts. Xiao Tang's sister is so anxious to let me go back. Did I cause trouble again? Fang Cheng asked tentatively. He killed Shen Tujun and the people of Shuangguang Guild, and left people like Zhu Zhanlin alive. These 3 parties plus the official will not pretend that nothing happened. At this time, Zhou Zhanyang squeezed out of the crowd, looked very familiar, patted Fang Cheng's arm, and smiled with satisfaction. Boy, you have made our Yucheng Education Department proud this time. Why are you here? Fang Cheng still looked disgusted. I'm here to tell you to relax, nothing will happen. Fang Cheng looked at Zhou Zhanyang suspiciously. If I remember correctly, you are the director of the Education Department, right? The implication is that it's the business of the Jing'an Department, so why should you care? It's true that I am the director of the Education Department, but if I say you are fine, then even if you are fine, you will be fine. Are you sure? Sure and certain. The official explanation for this incident was that the contestants of the Shuangguang Guild died at the hands of Shen Tujun, because the number plates of all the contestants of the Shuangguang Guild were found in his bracelet. Shen Tujun's death was caused by an accidental collision with a mutated space beast, and both sides died together. As for the Shenqi Guild, the only one who knew the truth, it became unusually quiet this time. And whether it was the Shentu family or the Shuangguang Guild, they also became unusually quiet this time, as if they accepted this result from the bottom of their hearts. But after Fang Cheng learned about this, he smelled a hint of unusual smell from it. But this is all later. Now that Fang Cheng got the original magnetic technique that he had been thinking about, he was pulled aside by Wu Zhong and asked mysteriously, have you seen Gong Yu? Fang Cheng looked at Wu Zhong and couldn't figure out what he meant. Wu Zhong frowned. Why are you looking at me like that? Tell me, did you see her? You are familiar with her. So she mentioned me. Seeing Wu Zhong's surprise, Fang Cheng smiled. You and her are not a good match. Wu Zhong nodded subconsciously, then suddenly realized, what do you mean by that? Fang Cheng smiled and said, I am mainly worried that you will be beaten by Sister Tang. Quote. So she left a good impression on you. Fang Cheng thought for a moment and said, she has a nice figure. Just her figure. She looks good too. Just her looks. How about you tell me what other advantages she has? Quote. Wu Zhong subconsciously looked around. Didn't she tell you that she is from Longguo, a specially appointed instructor of the Jing'an division? Her grandfather is the president of our Lingqi Guild. Her father is the commander of the Dragon Country's 5th Army. She also has a good friend, the wife of the head of the Xuanyuan family, one of the 3 major families in our dragon country. Otherwise, why do you think others are so afraid of her? Do you really think that she is so powerful? Quote, what is her power? Alas, she was originally S level, but because of the failure of promotion, she fell to B level and is still unstable. Quote, so pitiful. That's nothing. The most pitiful thing is my sister. She can only live for 2 years at most, and at this time, she still doesn't use her supernatural powers. Fang Cheng finally knew, why did she want to make a contract with me? It turned out that she was dying. So she must be very anxious. What are you laughing at? Seeing Fang Cheng's mouth inadvertently raised, Wu Zhong looked puzzled. I won first place this time, can't I just smile? Wu Zhong said with disdain. You are so flattered by winning the City Youth Championship, if you have the ability, go and win me a regional championship. Fang Cheng changed the subject and said, by the way, doesn't Gong Yu, the girl you just mentioned, have a beastmaster? I think in her case, as long as her beastmaster contracts a wood-type beast girl, the problem can be easily solved. Quote. Wu Zhong sighed. Do you think her family can't think of it? It's just that my sister is arrogant and looks down on ordinary beast masters. By the way, how does she feel about you? Quote, you don't mean to say that she wants to make a contract with me, do you? I really want to beautiful. Wu Zhong said with disdain. You kid, don't you know how much you weigh? Can she like you? Fang Cheng breathed a sigh of relief and said, that's good, that woman is too strong, who would be with her? Whoever breaks the contract will be unlucky. Huh, what are you talking about? Wu Zhong looked at Fang Cheng with a puzzled look. Fang Cheng explained. You don't know that I only met her once, and she wanted to find fault with me right away. What do you think she wants to do? Is she mentally ill? Did I provoke her? Quote. She wants to find fault with you. Wu Zhong suddenly showed a hint of joy on his face. Yeah, you said that with her personality, who can get along well with her in the future? Ah, alas, you can't say that. She may just be habitual and want to take the initiative. What initiative? Quan, I think she has a strong desire for control. Quote. Hey, what you said seems to be right. She is really such a person, but she is not a bad person. You will know after spending more time with her that being strong is just she is not good at socializing. Quote. Get along with her. Well, Brother Wu, please forgive me. I can't stay with her for even a minute. By the way, Brother Wu, do you have anything else to do? If not, I will go back. Teacher Mew is still waiting for me to go back and move. Quote. What are you talking about? Is moving so important? Well, then, Sister Tang seems to be looking for you, you should go quickly. Wu Zhong subconsciously he looked back at his wife, and when he turned back to look at Fang Cheng had already run away. Tang Li glared at Wu Zhong in anger. What are you looking for, you idiot? The guy ran away when you turned around. By the way, how was your talk with him? Ah, not so good. The guy he has a big prejudice against Xiao Yu. Quote. He has a big prejudice against Xiao Yu. What's going on? It's because Xiao Yu has a big temper and wants to take the initiative in everything. Fang Cheng is also. How can he be so easy to control? So Xiao Yu has already taken a fancy to him. Yes, but that boy doesn't seem to take a fancy to her. This, Tang Li said angrily. That kid is still picking on her. Instead of being angry with that kid here, you might as well go and persuade Xiao Yu to lower her attitude. After all, she is the one who needs help now. Fang Cheng and his family of 3 finally moved into the big villa. Under the huge transparent dome, there is a sci-fi villa. From a distance, it looks like a spaceship parked in a glass cover, with smooth lines emitting a metallic luster. There is also a small garden full of grass in front of the villa. It can be seen that no one has taken care of it for a long time. In addition, there is a swimming pool hidden under the garden, which can be raised and placed in the garden, or it can be retracted into the field. Because there is an intelligent housekeeper, the villa is very clean and you can move in directly with your luggage. Fang Cheng and Teacher Mew have been here before, and they are no longer surprised by some of the intelligent facilities in the villa. Mew Yunxi came here for the first time, but she was very curious. She touched and looked left and right. She wanted to try it out, but she was worried about breaking it. Fang Cheng smiled slightly. Xiao Yi. In. Quote. The space in front of Fang Cheng suddenly flickered a few times, and a virtual beauty in tights appeared in front of him. Take our young lady to pick a room. Okay. Seeing Mu Yunshi's curious face, Fang Cheng smiled and said, Look, a voice-controlled smart housekeeper. If you have anything to do, just go to her directly. I know, but I don't know her name. By the way, what did you call me just now? Young lady. Isn't it? You are the one. If you dare to say that again, I will kick you to death. After saying that, she showed her feet that would make her childless as if to demonstrate. Hee, only children wear round-toed leather shoes. I still like Teacher Mu's pointed stiletto heels, and then put on black stockings, which is the favorite of big boys. Mu Yao watched Xiaoxi follow the smart housekeeper upstairs, and then pulled Fang Cheng and said, I asked Xiaoxi about the previous matter. What's the matter? Fang Cheng's eyes withdrew from the little girl's back and fell on the queen in front of him. It's about Xiao Zai's contract with you. So you said this, how about she disagrees? No, she also wants to gamble. Huh, no way, what if I lose the bet? If I lose the bet, I will accept my fate. Besides, can't the taming value be shared, right? Fang Cheng was speechless for a moment. After thinking about it, he really didn't know how to comfort Teacher Mu. If I lose the bet, I can't terminate this contract. What do you want her to do in the future? Teacher Mu suddenly raised his head and looked at Fang Cheng and said, Xiao Fang, are you willing to let us gamble once? Fang Cheng was still hesitating, but he saw that Mu Yunxi, who had gone upstairs, stopped on the second floor at some point and stood there motionlessly, holding the railing tightly with her fingers. Her eyes were intertwined with expectation, tension and uneasiness. Mu Yunxi's eyes were fixed on Fang Cheng downstairs, as if she wanted to get the answer from his every move in advance. She was full of anxiety and desire, hoping that he could tell her the answer quickly, but she was also afraid that the answer would break all her illusions and expectations. Teacher Mu stood quietly beside Fang Cheng, holding Fang Cheng's hand and began to sweat slightly. Her seemingly calm face was accompanied by a hint of tension that was not easily noticed. Time seemed to become particularly long at this moment, and every second that passed made the heartbeats of the two women a little faster. Feeling the increased heartbeat of Teacher Mu, Fang Cheng reached out and brushed his cheek with a smile. In fact, the probability of triggering the highest contract is not as high as you think, at most only half. Really? Xiao Fang agreed. Mu Yunxi upstairs also breathed a sigh of relief. At first, she might still hesitate about what kind of contract to sign with Fang Cheng, but now, she can't care so much, as long as she can sign a contract with Fang Cheng, otherwise what if this guy regrets it again? Fang Cheng chuckled and said, Little fool, when have I ever lied to you? Teacher Mu's face flushed slightly, and then he mustered up the courage to say, Then when do you think we can sign a contract? Mu Yunxi's heart was lifted again, fearing that this little guy would regret it again. Fang Cheng understood Teacher Mu's little thoughts, which was afraid of more dreams at night. This beast master has too good talent, which is also a trouble. There are always beast girls rushing to sign a contract with him. Gong Yu hasn't been dealt with yet, and Mu Yao is thinking about taking the initiative. Does Gong Yu's appearance make her feel a sense of crisis? But where does this sense of crisis come from? Fang Cheng couldn't figure it out, but he would never let down a woman who only cared about him. So the contradiction came out, that's Teacher Mu's own daughter. Since you insist on me being a scumbag, let me be a scumbag more thoroughly. You decide the time, when do you think it's convenient? Mu Yao blurted out, how about now? After saying that, she felt a little rash, so she added, what do you think? I think there's nothing to do now anyway. Parents of other families beat their children on rainy days, anyway, they are free. You are free anyway, so just sign a contract. Fang Cheng nodded. Okay. Hearing Fang Cheng's words, Mu Yao finally felt relieved. Then Fang Cheng turned back to look at Mu Yunxi on the second floor. What do you think? Mu Yunxi's body suddenly stiffened, and a trace of panic flashed in her eyes, as if she was caught doing something bad by Fang Cheng. Then she quickly turned her face to the side and raised her hand to smooth the hair by her ears, trying to hide her discomfort and make herself less embarrassed. You should say something, okay or not. If you are okay, come down quickly, if not, just pretend I didn't say anything. Mu Yunxi was embarrassed in her heart, and was teased by Fang Cheng like this, and she immediately said unconvinced, of course I have no problem, but why do you want me to go down, can't you come up? Shall she? Mu Yao frowned. Why did this girl start to act like a little girl again? Mu Yunxi also realized her willfulness, but Feng Cheng was really too annoying. Okay, I'll go up. Yao, don't argue with your daughter. Mu Yunxi felt that there was something wrong with what the boy said, but she couldn't point out what was wrong. She slapped the railing in annoyance and turned away. Feng Cheng came upstairs and opened the door. Mu Yunxi stood in front of the window with her back to Feng Cheng. In fact, she was very nervous now. How to say it? Like a bride on the wedding night. Hearing Feng Cheng coming in, she took a deep breath. Don't worry about it at this time. That guy finally agreed for the sake of his mother, and he will regret it later. After thinking about it, she turned around suddenly. Feng Cheng, I'm ready, do you want to be ready? You don't regret it. I mean, what if I sign the strongest contract? Mu Yunxi shook her head. No regrets. She said it very firmly, but she couldn't help but complain in her heart. This boy usually looks very smart, why does he look like a piece of wood now? Can't he see my feelings for him at all? Feng Cheng nodded. Okay, come closer. Mu Yunxi took a step forward nervously. Feng Cheng frowned. Can't you take 2 more steps? This time Mu Yunxi. Then she walked in front of Feng Cheng, and just when she looked up, Feng Cheng pointed a finger at her forehead. At this moment, Mu Yunxi's eyes suddenly went dark, as if the whole person was swallowed by darkness, as if she fell into an endless void, without any perception. I don't know how long it has been, it seems like a century, and it seems like just a moment. Mu Yunxi suddenly opened her eyes and looked at Feng Cheng with drunken eyes. Feng Cheng snapped his fingers in front of her. Hey, wake up, are you asleep? She was startled at first, as if she was suddenly pulled back from distant thoughts. Her eyelids lazily blinked a few times, and there was still a trace of confusion and trance in her eyes. There was a bit of ignorance and cuteness on her delicate face, and then it seemed to gradually wake up, and a blush quietly climbed up her cheeks. Feng Cheng, are we considered a successful contract? Feng Cheng thought for a while and said, I don't know, how about we try it? Try it. Mu Yunxi looked confused. Well, call me Daddy. Dad, Mu Yunxi said, and quickly covered her mouth. She was completely awake now. Then she pinched Feng Cheng's arm in a bad mood. Asshole, you dare to play tricks on me. Hiss, let go, how can you be so strong, little girl? If you pinch and leave marks, aren't you afraid that your mother will see it? Mu Yunxi reluctantly let go, but she didn't intend to let Feng Cheng go. Unless you promise not to play tricks on me in the future, I will kick you to death. I don't have the time to play tricks on you. It's okay to arrange flowers and weeds with your mother. Isn't it nice? By the way, there is such a large garden at home now, and it's all overgrown with grass. I have to buy a lawn mower quickly. What kind of flowers does your mother like? I'll buy them all. It's just the ones grown at home. You can't tell them by yourself after you move them here. Feng Cheng walked to the door and looked back at Mu Yunxi again. Beast Mother. Mu Yunxi. Beast Tamer. Feng Cheng. Upgrade progress. 78%. Loyalty. 100%. Favorability. 100%. Taming value. 30. I have just signed the contract and I have been allocated 30 points of taming value, and the sharing ratio is about 70%. Beast talent. D level, beast form, swift cat, evolvable form, sea level spirit blazing beast, hidden evolved form, sky abyss giant spirit fire spirit star flame lynx. Enlightenment value. 0. Feng Cheng closed the door and sighed behind it. The taming value is easy to deal with, but the enlightenment value should be fixed. Standing downstairs and staring at Mu Yao upstairs, she felt nervous when she saw Feng Cheng sighing. What's wrong, Xiao Feng? Xiao's eyes mouth is like a knife, I'm angry. Xiao Shi, don't worry, everything is as you wish. Really, always ask such stupid questions, when have I ever lied to you? After saying that, he walked down, scratched Mu Yao's nose, and then looked at the grassy yard outside the window and said, I plan to buy a lawn mower, do you want to go with me? Didn't you buy one last time? Feng Cheng was stunned at first, then laughed and pointed outside the window and said, I mean, remove the grass in our yard. Ah, Teacher Mu blushed, and then spat. Bah, Xiao Fang, you are getting worse and worse. Teacher Mu, why don't you say that you have the wrong idea? Okay, you go quickly, I'll go up to see Xiao Shi. The two of them went to the Lingqi Guild. Sister Tang, do you think Fang Cheng looks familiar? Tang Li looked at Gong Yu in confusion. She came to Gong Yu to persuade her to control her temper. Fang Cheng was not easy to handle, so as not to make things worse. But she didn't expect to hear her ask this question when they met. Gong Yu looked at Tang Li in confusion. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm not saying that it's a good thing that you want to chat up with Fang Cheng, but your way of chatting up is too old-fashioned, isn't it? Sister Tang, you misunderstood. I really think he looks familiar, as if I've seen him somewhere before. Could he be the ideal husband you imagined? Gong Yu rolled her eyes. I don't want to bother with you. Okay, let me talk to you about business. I heard from Lao Wu that you want to control that kid Fang Cheng, right? Gong Yu said with a frustrated look. Don't mention it. That kid is like a loach, and you can't control him at all. Tang Li sat next to Gong Yu and said patiently, have you ever thought about it, Xiao Yu, even if you control him now, he is also a beastmaster, and you are a beast mother. What do you mean? Gong Yu was startled, as if she thought of something, but she was not sure. I don't know much about that guy, but one thing is certain, that guy is soft-hearted and not hard-hearted. Even if you have the means to force him to bow his head now, that guy will definitely remember it in his heart. And he is also a person who knows how to be patient, knows what it means to judge the situation, and the time he can take revenge on you will definitely not be too short. For example, once you have a contract with him, what qualifications do you have to negotiate with him? Tang Li has already said it very tactfully. If Gong Yu wants to obtain Mu Yao's healing ability through Fang Cheng, she must at least have an intermediate contract. This kind of contract Beastmaster has binding force on beast girls. How will you fight him then? The more you control him now, the more fierce his revenge will be, and you will be the one who suffers in the end. After Tang Li finished speaking, she saw Gong Yu fell silent, so she held her hand and comforted her. Silly girl, why are you still standing there? While that boy hasn't reacted yet, you should quickly build a good relationship with him. Build a good relationship. Do you think that boy will still not react? You have to try. Can you find someone who is more suitable for you than him? Gong Yu said with lingering fear, will that boy really torture me to death in the future? This, little sister Tang, don't scare me. Tang Li smiled and said, are you scared now? I told Lao Wu before you, control your temper, you just won't listen. But you don't have to worry, remember what I just told you, that guy is soft-hearted, this is his soft help. You are so smart, and you have caught his soft help, are you still worried about not being able to deal with him? Quote. That's right, the question is whether you and Brother Wu are wrong, is he really not hard-hearted? Tang Li immediately said proudly. Of course, otherwise, with the situation of me and your Brother Wu, how can we keep him in the Lingqi Guild? Gong Yu nodded doubtfully. Then I will trust you again. Tianyu Community, the new home of Fang Cheng's family of 3. In the garden, Fang Cheng bought a lawn-mower with a knife wheel, which he pushed forward by hand, loosening the soil and weeding at the same time. Following behind was Mu Yunxi, wearing gloves and holding a rake, pulling the cut grass together. Teacher Mu was at the back, holding a small shovel, carefully dealing with some small grass in the corners. Mu Yunxi slammed the rake into the ground, wiped the sweat off her face and said, Fang Cheng, if you buy a lawn mower, can't you buy a smart one? Fang Cheng turned around and smiled, don't you think this is interesting? Teacher Mu, who was planting flowers, heard it and said with a smile, I think this is interesting and meaningful. Mom, you only know how to side with him. What do you mean I side with him? Don't you think this is really like a home? Mu Yunxi pursed her lips, obviously not convinced, but her hands were raking the grass more and more seriously, and she was muttering something in a low voice. It seemed that she was convinced in her heart but not in her mouth. The sun shone through the transparent dome on the family of 3, and gradually the 3 began to talk and laugh. Teacher Mu likes roses, and all she thinks about is where to plant what kind of roses, and they must be beautiful when they bloom. Mu Yunxi likes roses, and plans to let the small fences around her be covered with roses, and also plans to make a few arches with roses, and they will definitely look good when they bloom. Fang Cheng wanted to plant trees, preferably fruit trees. Peach trees are good. Peach trees full of peach blossoms in spring must be very good, and in summer, there will be peaches full of trees to eat. Happy times always pass quickly, and before they know it, the 3 acres of land in the garden have been cleaned up by the 3 people. The 3 stood side by side under the eaves, admiring the fruits of their labor, and their faces showed satisfied and gratified smiles. Fang Cheng gently put his hand on Teacher Mu's shoulder, and Teacher Mu leaned over and leaned his head on his shoulder. Everything seemed so natural and harmonious. But Mu Yunxi, who was standing next to Teacher Mu, was not happy. These 2 people were actually showing off their love in front of me again. Do they think I'm dead? So her cheeks puffed up, her brows twisted, and she was about to say something, but she saw that the hand that was originally on her mother's shoulder was pressed on her head. She was stunned. Is this the legendary head-touching killer? Feeling the warmth from Fang Cheng's palm, Mu Yunxi smiled shyly, feeling as if she was wrapped in a warm cloud, with sweetness in her heart. However, the next moment Fang Cheng pushed her out hard. Get out of the way, little brat, don't disturb me and your mother from enjoying a good time here. Oh, Mu Yunxi staggered, trotted a few steps to the side, and almost sat on the ground. HMPH. She rubbed her head and looked at Fang Cheng coldly. Fang. Just as she opened her mouth, Fang Cheng looked at her and glared back at her, making her stamp her feet in grievance. Teacher Mu naturally noticed their little movements, but she leaned on Fang Cheng's shoulder and just smiled slightly. At this moment, the doorbell rang at home, breaking the rare warmth. Looking up, who else could it be if it wasn't Gong Yu who was standing outside and ringing the doorbell? Mu Yunxi was stunned for a moment when she saw Gong Yu, not understanding why Instructor Gong would come to her home. The next moment, her eyes were as bright as the stars, and the depression in her heart was swept away, and surprise and excitement intertwined on her beautiful face. It's a pity that this girl doesn't go to perform Sichuan opera. Instructor Gong is her idol. Why is she here? Mu Yunxi ran over happily, opened the door of the transparent dome, and said excitedly, Instructor Gong, why are you here? Why can't I come to see you? Are you here to see me? Are you not welcome? No, it's just too unexpected. Gong Yu smiled and said, I heard that you moved to a new house, so I came to see you. Here is a small gift to congratulate you on your new home. After that, Gong Yu handed a packaged gift box to Mu Yunxi. Thank you, Instructor Gong. Why are you being so polite to me? Don't you want to invite me to your new home? Look, I'm so excited that I forget everything. Instructor Gong, please come in. Gong Yu smiled and walked into the transparent dome. When she passed by Mu Yunxi, she was stunned for a moment, then looked at Mu Yunxi carefully. Have you made a contract with someone? The 2 of them were so close that they had to face each other. A blush appeared on Mu Yunxi's face, like the sunset glow in the sky. Gong Yu saw Mu Yunxi like this, and knew that she was right, and asked, with that guy? Mu Yunxi nodded. That kid is really, Gong Yu said, but didn't know how to continue. Mu Yunxi quickly defended Fang Cheng. Instructor Gong, Fang Cheng is not as bad as you think. Oh, you're speaking for him so soon. Well, that guy is my beastmaster. I can't just turn my elbow outward, can I? Gong Yu was stunned. If this girl just said this, it would be fine if it was written on paper, but why does it sound a little uncomfortable? Forget it, Xiao Tang said that guy is soft-hearted. Since this girl is the beast mother of that boy, she will be his sister in the future. The elder sister does not remember the younger sister's fault, not only for the boy, but also for the whole team. So Gong Yu changed the topic to something lighter. Is it okay for me to visit you today? How could that be? It's my honor that you can come, Instructor Gong. Don't you need to ask your beastmaster? To tell you the truth, that guy can't beat me. Now it was Gong Yu's turn to be curious. Mu Yunxi smiled and said, that guy is so dumb in talking. He always loses when we argue. You guys still argue? Well, it's not really an argument. It's just that guy always makes me angry, as if he wants to piss me off to death. Gong Yu couldn't help but smile when she saw Mu Yunxi, who looked like she wanted to bite Fang Cheng to death. After walking through the garden and arriving in front of the villa, Mu Yao had already learned from Mu Yunxi that it was Gong Yu who saved her last time. Of course, she saw it, but the situation was different and she couldn't pretend she didn't know. Hello, Instructor Gong. Thank you for saving my Xiaoxi last time. Hello, Sister Mu. Gong Yu is 31 years old this year, 5 years younger than Teacher Mu. Teacher Mu was stunned for a moment, because she knew Gong Yu's purpose or thoughts. Due to the nature of women, she couldn't help but think, is she reminding me that she is younger than me? It's getting late, I'll go make dinner. Instructor Gong, do you have any taboos? I feel a little embarrassed to come uninvited and eat at your house. Gong Yu is not stupid. She can feel that Sister Mu in front of her is hostile to her. It seems that she and Fang Cheng, the boy, already know her purpose. If I tell her the food I avoid at this time, and Sister Mu specifically chooses the food I avoid, will I eat it or not? Although Teacher Mu is somewhat hostile to Gong Yu now, she is not as vicious as she thought. It is just because she saved her daughter, so she still has to be polite, unless Xiao Fang hates her or finds out that she likes to make trouble. Then I will do whatever I want. Then I will trouble Sister Mu. After saying that, she looked at Fang Cheng, who had been silent. Why are you unhappy to see your sister? I didn't kick you out because of Xiao Zai's face. You still want me to be happy. Are you sick? Gong Yu guaranteed that Fang Cheng was definitely the first person who dared to talk to her like this, and he would be the last one. Humph, forget it, don't bother with this kid. But she didn't know that Fang Cheng had already controlled her tightly. Little guy, I have never offended you, right? You said you didn't offend me. If I say I did, wouldn't it make me look petty? Gong Yu looked at Mu Yunxi subconsciously. Is this kid's mouth really as stupid as you say? Are you kidding me? Okay, good Instructor Gong, don't bother with this guy, let's go in and sit down. After saying that, he pulled Gong Yu into the house, but Gong Yu suddenly turned around and took out a gift box and said, Here, congratulations on your new home, a small gift for you. Fang Cheng took a look and didn't take it. What? An upgraded version of the original magnetism. Huh. Fang Cheng quickly took the box and said, There is an upgraded version of the original magnetism. What's so strange about this? The original magnetism is originally an SSS level skill. The one in the branch is just a castrated version. Didn't Sister Xiao Tang tell you? I was wondering why she suddenly became so generous. I can choose any A-level martial arts. It turns out that they are all castrated versions. Gong Yu smiled and said, You can't say that. Most of the A-level skills in the branch are real. Only a small part is the castrated version above S level. After all, there are not many martial arts above S level in the whole world. Regarding the inheritance of such martial arts, no matter which guild or group, the loyalty of members must be considered. Quote. Then you just gave it to me, isn't it breaking the rules? If you think I broke the rules, you can give it back to me. You took it seriously when I was joking. Gong Yu found that in addition to the points that Sister Tang said, this kid also had one thing, which was thick-skinned. Fang Cheng had heard from Lao Wu before that Gong Yu had a deep background, but to what extent, he had only seen the tip of the iceberg now. SSS level martial arts, he actually gave it away. But at this time, Gong Yu said, By the way, the original magnetism can only be seen for 1 week. If you want to learn it, you'd better hurry up. Really, you want to take back what you gave away? Quote. What? I'm not as stingy as you. Don't you know that the martial arts of the guild are all copies? Martial arts above S level can only be copied for a week at most before they disappear. Didn't Sister Tang tell you this common sense? Tang Li really didn't tell Fang Cheng this, but Lan Xiao told him when Fang Cheng went to choose martial arts last time. Anyway, Gong Yu is still a good woman, that is, she is generous. I like women who are generous to me. However, what he didn't know was that Gong Yu turned around, raised the corners of her mouth slightly, and smiled like a chicken. The A-level original magnetism is not a castrated version, but a guide. If you don't learn the A-level original magnetism and start directly from the SSS level, it is impossible to learn it. During the meal, Gong Yu gave Mu Yaoi gave her a gift, which was an S-level inheritance crystal. There was a certain chance that the beast girl could awaken a bloodline skill in advance, and it would not conflict with the skill awakened by the promotion. As for Xiaoxi, it was an S-level star flame crystal, which had a certain chance to help her awaken the hidden bloodline, that is, the hidden evolution form. It seemed that I was not the only one with a sharp eye. Gong Yu also saw that Xiaoxi had a hidden evolution form. Did she also see the true form of Teacher Mu? It shouldn't be. Now, it was my own skill that was hidden on Teacher Mew. Even the identification instrument can't identify it, how can she see it? Gong Yu can't see it, but she can guess, which makes her more curious. What method did Fang Cheng use to hide Sister Mu's true identity? In any case, with these 3 gifts to pave the way for Gong Yu, this family dinner was a happy one. In the evening, after seeing Gong Yu off, Fang Cheng and his family of 3 sat in the living room and used crystals. Fang Cheng used the S-level supernatural crystal and successfully upgraded the B-level lightning supernatural power to S-level. Teacher Mew used the S-level inheritance crystal successfully awakened the bloodline skill Yimu Lingguangzan, an energy state attack skill that is released in a half-moon shape with an attack distance of 50 meters. When used with a D-level supernatural bow, the attack distance can reach 550 meters, but the attack surface will be reduced. Then Mu Yunxi used the Star Flame crystal, and the enlightenment value was directly maxed out. Looking at the gains of the 3 of them, Fang Cheng's favorability towards Gong Yu increased further. Fang Cheng likes women who are generous to him. How can Fang Cheng not like women who are generous to his women even more? The night was like a soft velvet curtain, gently covering the earth. The stars were like bright gems, inlaid in the vast night sky, flashing mysterious and charming light. The bright moon hung high in the sky, casting silvery light, making the whole world dreamlike. The room was quiet and silent. Mu Yunxi lay on the soft bed, but she couldn't fall asleep. She felt an inexplicable desire in her heart. This feeling had no reason, but it occupied her body and mind so real and strongly. She kept turning over, as if her body was driven by an invisible force, turning from one side to the other, but she couldn't find a comfortable posture. Every time she turned over, her heart beat violently, and the beating seemed to lose its regularity, disordered and rapid. Her eyes were wide open, flashing an uneasy light in the darkness. She tried to calm herself down, so she stared at the ceiling in the dark, counting sheep foolishly. It was not until the moon set that the shy feeling gradually disappeared. Just when she thought she could finally have a good sleep, there was another strange noise in the garden downstairs. Who is it? Can I sleep? She held the pillow in her left hand and the clothes hanger in her right hand, and came to the balcony and looked down angrily. Why is it Fang Cheng? Her heart jumped suddenly, as if a little deer was running around. What was he doing in the garden in the middle of the night? Fang Cheng finally got Teacher Mew to sleep, and he was now seizing the time to practice the original magnetism. Gong Yu said that the original magnetism she gave was just a replica, and it would only last for 1 week in the skill crystal card. He had taken a look before, and this thing was much harder to practice than the D-level skills. He had to seize the opportunity. He had just paid his taxes and ran to the garden to practice. He put the small shovel that Teacher Mew had used before in front of him, and then used the method of the original magnetism to use the lightning system to generate the original magnetism, trying to control the small shovel in front of him. He practiced very seriously, but the small shovel in front of him did not give him any face at all, and there was no movement. He opened the crystal card again to find out his shortcomings, whether he had misunderstood something, and then tried again, and then tried again. Circles of electric arcs appeared around him, and it looked like that, but the small shovel was still like a salted fish, lying as if it had already fought with him. Time passed by bit, and the long-term high-intensity output of the superpowers had soaked his pajamas with sweat. Even with his extraordinary recovery ability, Fang Cheng felt that he could not bear it. Finally, Fang Cheng sat down on the ground. He must have misunderstood something. If the real original magnetic technique was so energy-consuming, then what was the point of playing it on the battlefield? Fang Cheng didn't want to get up after sitting down. He simply lay back and let his head empty and think carefully. Just practicing like this can easily lead people into a dead end. Originally, Fang Cheng just wanted to look at the starry sky before dawn, but he saw Mu Yunxi on the balcony out of the corner of his eye. Did that girl get up early or didn't sleep all night? Did she wake her up again? No, what was that girl doing there with a pillow in her arms? In this quiet early morning, Mu Yunxi on the balcony seemed to have understood that the previous inexplicable shyness came from the bad guy downstairs. Holding the pillow tightly with both hands, her cheek gently rubbing the surface of the pillow, her heart was full of desire, longing for not holding a pillow in her arms, but a bad guy. She imagined his warm embrace and his gentle words whispering in her ears. Her thoughts flew, with endless attachment and expectation. The girl's thoughts hidden in her heart were like a rose blooming quietly in spring, with fragrance and tenderness. Her slightly flushed cheeks, her sometimes shy, sometimes fiery eyes, and a sweet smile unconsciously appeared at the corners of her mouth, all of which were seen by Fang Cheng downstairs. Why was there no sound downstairs suddenly? Mu Yunxi rested her chin on the pillow and looked down. She froze instantly. That fool found out. Her face turned red, just like other people scraped their backs, but she scraped her face, red and dripping blood. She subconsciously raised the pillow in her arms and hid her face behind the pillow. Her eyes roamed around in panic, not knowing what to do. She wanted to turn around and escape back to her room, but she staggered nervously and almost fell. Fortunately, she was supported in time. The balcony railings looked both embarrassed and cute. Looking at her at a loss, Fang Cheng couldn't help but laugh. It's over. Just now, in that girl's heart, he must have been unclean. Fang Cheng stood up and patted the dust off his butt, went back to the room and took a shower. He didn't sleep all night, but now he was not sleepy at all. This is the benefit of strong recovery ability. The sun just emerged from the horizon, and Teacher Mu got up on time to make breakfast for everyone. When she came downstairs and saw Fang Cheng coming out of the bathroom, Teacher Mu's face immediately showed a gentle and nostalgic smile, and her eyes were shining with happiness. Dear, why did you get up so early today? Practice the original magnetic technique. Didn't Gong Yu say it yesterday? I only have 1 week, I have to hurry up. Then you were busy so late last night. Staying up late is not good for your health. Teacher Mu's words revealed a little complaint, and then took the towel from Fang Cheng's hand and wiped Fang Cheng's hair. The star flame crystal that Gong Yu brought yesterday has awakened Xiao Zai's hidden bloodline, so we may have to work harder during this period. Really? What are you asking about? Teacher Mu shyly hit Fang Cheng's shoulder. Of course it's about the hidden bloodline. This is indeed true. Then there's no need to rush. It won't be too late to talk about it in a week. Do you really think so? Of course, in my opinion, your health is more important than anything else. Don't let Xiao Shi hear this, otherwise she will be unbalanced again. That girl just likes to show off her strength with her mouth, don't take it to heart. Don't worry, I won't argue with a silly girl. Teacher Mu smiled slightly. By the way, why hasn't she gotten up today? When the two were playing, the sun had risen, and the sunlight shining in from the window was no longer red. Could it be that she didn't sleep well last night? Fang Cheng said casually. Teacher Mu blushed slightly. How is it possible that she couldn't sleep well last night when she was so far away? Fang Cheng nodded. That makes sense. In that case, she is just lazy. Teacher Mu added. When she was in school, she would get up as soon as the alarm rang. Now she is still lying in bed even when the sun is shining on her buttocks. What will happen to a girl if she continues like this? I have to wake her up. Mu Yunxi had just closed her eyes and had not had time to immerse herself in that trace of comfort when she was pulled out of the quilt by her young and beautiful mother. At this moment, her eyes were full of confusion and astonishment, and she was deeply reluctant. Teacher Mu wanted to make herself look more serious, but Wenwan's temperament was not scary no matter how serious it was. The most important thing was that she was still thinking that her daughter was so old, and would it hurt her self-esteem if she scolded her like before? But she didn't think about how to scold her for a while, and the mother and daughter just stared at each other. Finally, Mu Yunxi couldn't resist the sleepiness and broke the silence first. Mom, can you let me sleep a little longer? I'm so sleepy. You're still sleeping when the sun is shining on your butt. Look at Xiao Fang, who gets up before dawn to practice martial arts, but you're just thinking about sleeping. Do you think everything will be fine after signing a contract with Xiao Fang? It would have been better if Teacher Mu didn't mention that bad guy. Once he mentioned that, Mu Yunxi felt very wrong. It was that guy who caused her to not sleep all night, but she didn't dare to say it out loud. After all, he caught her in the act last night. It was so embarrassing to think about it now. The funeral procession was held in Yucheng Funeral Home. There were 2 crystal coffins in the mourning hall, one of which contained Shintujun and the other contained Su Yaqi. Although Su Yaqi was not the registered daughter-in-law of the Shintu family, she was the contracted beast mother of his son. According to the rules of this world, She could be considered his daughter-in-law from the moment she signed the intermediate contract with Shintu Jun. Today was the day of their funeral, but the only living person in the mourning hall was Shintu Hao. He sat there, glancing outside the door from time to time, as if waiting for someone. Not long after, footsteps were heard outside the door, tap tap. The slender heels stepped on the hard floor, the sound was crisp and ethereal, echoing in the empty mourning hall. Shen Tuao turned his head and looked at a woman wearing a black veiled hat and a black slim suit. She was in her 30s, the black short skirt tightly wrapped around her waist, showing her graceful curves, her hair was neatly combed behind her head, her seductive eyes were hidden in the veil, and her mouth was painted with seductive lipstick. Her behavior was deliberately artificial, and every move seemed to be carefully designed. It is undeniable that this woman has a good figure, but Shen Tuao is not interested in her, because under the enchanting black slim suit, there is a cold metal body, including the pair of high heels on her feet, which are actually part of her feet. Her name is Koizumi Mako, and she is also Shen Tuao's immediate boss. She first glanced at Shintu Hao, then walked straight to the two crystal coffins, stretched out her hands to touch the coffins, and her face showed a look of tasting and intoxication. After a moment, she said to Shintu Hao, "These two materials are very fresh." Shintu sang, "You must not mind giving them to me." "Whatever." Shintu Jun clenched his fists tightly, and then gently loosened them. It can be seen that he didn't want to be casual. But he had no choice. The reason why the Shintu family could jump from a family on the verge of bankruptcy to the richest man in Yucheng was inseparable from the support of the plaster country. In Longguo, there are many families like the Shintu family, which are secretly supported by the plaster country. They are involved in various fields of Longguo, and the Shintu family is just a drop in the ocean. Koizumi Mazi waved her hand, put the two crystal coffins into her bracelet, turned around and asked, "Shen Tu sang, how are you preparing for the project of building the plaster country-style street in Yucheng last time?" "Miss Mazi, let's talk about Fang Cheng first. Isn't this the reason you came this time?" "Yes, but this is just a small matter. Let your dragon country teenagers accept the culture of our plaster country, that's the big deal. Do you think Fang Cheng is just a small matter?" Koizumi Mazi covered her mouth and laughed. Incompetent Shen Tu sang, "In your eyes he may be an unshakable mountain, but in our eyes." At this point she stretched out her hand, made a gesture of pinching an ant, put it in front of her eyes and squinted her eyes and said, "In our eyes he is just a small ant, not even a stronger ant." Shen Tuao wanted to remind her not to underestimate Fang Cheng, but after thinking about it, he decided to forget it. They are the best at being hypocritical and polite on the surface, but they are sarcastic and mean inside. They are typical people who are polite but not righteous. Remind her. She didn't know what vicious words she would use to scold herself. "Ms. Ma Zi, you should also know that it is not easy to build your style street in Longguo. Although some of your things have a market here, there are not many people who really like them. On the contrary, many people are not friendly to you. If I am not careful, I will burn myself. People will always change slowly, right? Children are easy to change. You are right, but I am facing a group of adults." Shen Tu sang, "You are making excuses like this. Have you forgotten your position?" This is what Shen Tu Hao hates to hear the most. It represents some unbearable past events, but he can't do anything about it. "I need time. We have given you a lot of time. If the project doesn't start this month, you know the consequences. Miss Ma Zi is in Yucheng. Who else can you find to cooperate with besides me?" "Shen Tu san, I think you really don't understand your position. From the beginning, our relationship is not cooperation. You must obey me unconditionally. I don't want to remind you a second time. I will do it as soon as possible. I'm not asking you to do it as soon as possible. I must see the project start this month." Shen Tu san, Hao nodded, then stood up and walked out. "Did I tell you to leave? Miss Ma Zi, what else do you want?" Ma Zi Koizumi looked around the morning hall and suddenly said, "This is my first time in your Longguo's morning hall. I want you to satisfy my curiosity." "I don't understand what you mean." Ma Zi Koizumi laughed, and her smile was so charming that Shen Tuao was terrified. Shen Tu sang, "Have you heard of our great plaster empire? There is a program called Widow. You might as well say that you like to touch the electric switch." 6 days passed in a blink of an eye. Fang Cheng stayed at home every day to learn the original magnetism. His hard work paid off. Finally, he got started today. He learned from the fairy drama he had watched in his previous life and pinched a sword formula with 2 fingers together. In an instant, the electric light on his fingers swirled, and the small shovel covered with mud on the ground flew up, like a nimble fish, happily shuttling and circling around him. As the electric light on his fingers disappeared, the small shovel was thrown to the ground again. Fang Cheng shook his head. He had learned it, but the speed was still a little slow. He had a long way to go if he wanted to cheat people with this. At this time, Mu Yunxi and Teacher Mu came back, followed by Gong Yu. Hey, why did you come back so early today? Fang Cheng smiled slightly. Mu Yunxi held a big bear in her hand and handed it to Fang Cheng. Do you like it? It's for you. I'm not a child, you can keep it for yourself. HMPH, you don't know what's good for you. If you like it, I won't give it to you. Teacher Mu took out a tissue and came over to wipe the sweat off Fang Cheng's head. Did you practice for another day today? No, I just practiced and you came back. Gong Yu smiled and said, tomorrow is the last day. Kid, how are you doing? SSS level magnetism is really hard to learn. Gong Yu raised the corner of her mouth slightly, as if it was just as I expected, and said, do you want me to find a master for you? You mean you can do it? Gong Yu shook her head. I can't, but I know someone who can. As long as you follow me to the imperial capital, I promise to let him teach you. So you are waiting for me here. What do you mean? Quote, first give me a SSS level magnetism to arouse my interest, and then I can't learn it. You are like now, and it is logical for me to go to the imperial capital with you. Your purpose is to make me go to the imperial capital with you, right? If I am not mistaken, I can't learn SSS level magnetism directly, right? Gong Yu was shocked. How could this kid be so smart? My plan is perfect and there is no possibility of flaws. How did he see it? No, it is probably that he is lying to me again, so she pretended to be calm and said, what good will it do me to trick you into going to the imperial capital? I will have to take care of your food, drink, accommodation, and find a master for you. Am I too idle? Really? Then why did I learn it all at once starting from the A-level magnetism? The castrated version you mentioned should be the introductory version, right? Quote. Gong Yu finally couldn't pretend anymore and looked at Fang Cheng in surprise. Is this guy a demon? He found out everything. How did I get it right? It's nothing. I don't know anything you said. It must be Tang Li. It must be Sister Tang who told this kid. It's all his fault that he didn't tell her in advance. Sister Xiao Tang, you really didn't tell that kid the correct way to learn the original magnetism. Really not, Xiao Yu, why don't you believe me? Besides, I didn't even know you gave that kid the SSS level original magnetism. Besides, that guy hasn't come to the guild these days. Even if I want to tell him, I don't have the chance. Quote. That's strange. How did that guy know? You're still doubting me? No, I'm just curious. He can't just leave the SSS level magnetism and practice A level, right? Quote. Is it possible that he couldn't learn it, so he practiced A level, and it just so happened that he has it again? Gong Yi was stunned. It seemed possible, but she thought it was not right. I only gave him 1 week to use the original magnetism. Time is so tight, he shouldn't be so focused on it. All of them are SSS level magnetism. Tang Li smiled and said, others may think the same as you do, but when has Fang Cheng ever played by the rules? You are using the same method to deal with him as you would with ordinary people. That is not right. Are you making yourself unhappy? Besides, you came back to see me so soon, weren't you kicked out by him? Quote. Gong Yu's face turned embarrassed. How could it be? I just feel embarrassed to stay with him. That's good. I'm really afraid that you'll end up making things worse. Listen to my advice and stop fighting with that guy. Quote. Gong Yu nodded. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Tang Li immediately emphasized from behind. Hey, what I said is true. You may not be able to beat that boy. Quote. I know, I just want to be quiet now. In the garden of the villa, Fang Cheng was performing the original magnetism technique for Teacher Mu and Mu Yunxi. SSS the first level magnetism technique adds the following to the original magnetism: manipulation and magnetic explosion. Electromagnetic shield. use the magnetic field to form a powerful protective barrier to resist physical attacks and energy shocks. Lightning guidance. Use magnetic fields to accurately guide lightning, making it more directional and destructive. Electromagnetic perception. Sense metal objects and electromagnetic signals in the surrounding environment to obtain more information. Magnetic field suspension. Make yourself or a specific object levitate in the magnetic field. In the air, it can move flexibly. Electromagnetic refraction. Change the magnetic field around itself, causing the enemy's attack to refract and deviate. Mu Yunxi is a strong person, which can be seen from her mouth. When she saw Fang Cheng change such a great man, besides being envious, she was also a little unconvinced. When Fang Cheng came over, she was still struggling with herself. If he can do it, I can do it too, I won't be worse than him. Otherwise, he will you look down on me even more. Suddenly, someone hit her head, and she looked up, covering her forehead. It was Fang Cheng again. This time, when she looked at Fang Cheng, she didn't look angry, but aggrieved. Originally, I felt stupid enough, and he flicked my head. Fang Cheng, who wanted to tease her, noticed the strange look in the girl's eyes and changed his words, "Are you envious? Don't worry, it won't be long before you can become as powerful as her, maybe even better than me." "You're lying." "I'm really not lying to you. Tomorrow we'll go to the guild and get you an evolution crystal. I'll let you evolve first, and then I'll take you to level up. With your mother and I's strength, we'll definitely be able to level up in less than 2 weeks. You can be promoted to D level." Quote. Mu Yunxi raised her lips slightly and pointed at Fang Cheng and said, "Well, you said it." At night, Mu Yunxi hugged her big bear and sat on the balcony, and waited and waited. It was almost dawn, but Fang Cheng didn't come out. "Well, that guy stopped practicing when he just got started, and my mother said I was lazy. Compared with him, I am diligent." Yes, Fang Cheng has been practicing the original magnetic technique downstairs these days, and she has been watching him from above every day, without missing a single day. She couldn't sleep even when she was lying in bed. Fang Cheng had made her a night owl in the past few days. "I kept thinking about that bad guy, feeling a little unwilling, just like going to the same store to buy milk and vegetables every day, but when I wanted to drink it today, the store suddenly closed. But he lived downstairs. An inexplicable desire grew wildly in her heart, spreading like weeds. So she threw the big teddy bear away, got up, opened the door, and went to the second floor. I know that guy must be sleeping now, but it seems that looking at his door can also bring me some comfort. It seems that I am really crazy." Quote. After looking for a while, Mu Yunxi patted her head and was about to go back, but suddenly heard a sound coming from downstairs. Suddenly, she had an idea and quickly leaned on the railing to look down. The light was on in the kitchen, and the shadow cast by the light, who else could it be but Fang Cheng? She walked downstairs and came to the kitchen secretly. Fang Cheng was standing in front of the stove and eating an apple, as if he was cooking something. She turned around inadvertently and was startled by Mu Yunxi at the door. "Oh my God, you want to scare me to death, what are you doing here in the middle of the night?" Mu Yunxi pursed her lips and said disdainfully, "You are still a D-level beastmaster, you don't even know someone is walking behind you. D-level beastmasters are also human beings. People have times when they take a nap, not to mention in their own homes. What are you doing?" Mu Yunxi stretched her neck to look at the stove. "Cooking noodles." Quote. Cooking noodles in the middle of the night. Fang Cheng had no choice. In order to help the girl in front of him quickly accumulate the taming points needed for upgrading, he had consumed a lot of energy in the past few days. Although his recovery ability is amazing, recovery also requires energy, and this energy comes from the food he eats every day. Otherwise, why would teacher Mu stew sea cucumbers for him every day when he knew that he had amazing recovery ability? Now that the family conditions are better, he has upgraded from sea cucumbers to exotic beasts. "What else can I do if I don't cook noodles? Do you want some?" Mu Yunxi licked her lips. "Is it delicious? If it's not delicious, you should go to bed quickly." HMPH. Mu Yunxi walked into the kitchen, opened the refrigerator and took out a seasoning bag. "If it's not delicious, remember to put this seasoning in. It's all ready. You can eat it directly by mixing it." After that, she came to the stove again, picked up the frying pan and said, "Do you want me to fry a few more eggs for you?" What do you want to do? Fang Cheng looked at the girl with a vigilant look. HMPH, you don't know what's good for you. I know you must be very tired because of my affairs these days. You must have consumed a lot, otherwise why would you come to find food in the middle of the night? Quote. You know a lot, aren't you afraid that I will kill you to silence you? Tisk, although these things are not taught in school, the instructors have said them in the training camp. Don't think I don't know anything. Why did the instructor tell you this? He is sick. You are sick. This is the knowledge of beast control. It is also the price of the beast control master's dominance. It is also common sense. Don't you know it? While talking, Mu Yunshi had already fried 3 soft-boiled eggs for him and gently put them on the plate. Your noodles seem to be burnt. Mu Yunshi looked at the noodles in the pot and said, It's okay, I'll cook more for you. Is this enough? In fact, you are quite cute sometimes. Quote. Mu Yunshi turned her back to Fang Cheng, and a smile appeared on her face, which was sweet and proud. Mu Yunshi turned back, and wanted Fang Cheng to watch her and not let the noodles get tangled again, but she forgot that the bad guy was so close, and his face suddenly enlarged in front of her, and the distance between them was incredibly close. Time seemed to freeze at this moment, and her eyes widened instantly, full of surprise and shyness. Smelling Fang Cheng's breath, it seemed that there was an inexplicable attraction, attracting her to get closer. Mu Yunshi had closed her eyes. At this moment, as a boy, Fang Cheng should of course take the initiative, so the noodles got tangled again. Although Mu Yunshi slept very late yesterday, she was in particularly good spirits today. While stretching beautifully, she walked to the sink and smiled brightly at the mirror. Hey, what is this? Mu Yunshi looked in the mirror and plucked a hair from the corner of her mouth. When she saw it clearly, her cheeks turned red. Bah, bad guy, you only know how to bully me. Mu Yunshi spat and quickly brushed her teeth. Before her mother came up to wake her up, she skipped downstairs. Fang Cheng, are we going to the guild today? Mu Yao, who was about to go upstairs to wake up her daughter, looked puzzled at Mu Yunshi, who ran down like a rabbit. Usually, this girl would look sleepy and reluctant at this time, so why was she so cheerful and energetic today? Fang Cheng, who was drinking porridge, smiled and said, Of course, didn't we agree on this yesterday? Do you want to drink animal milk? I heard from your mother that this is from AD level alien beast, and it is very nourishing. Mu Yunshi looked at the cup of milk in front of Fang Cheng, and didn't know what she remembered. Her cheeks blushed, and then she shook her head in panic. I don't drink it, it tastes too fishy. Fang Cheng turned around and smiled at Mu Yao. See, I said it tasted too fishy, but you didn't believe it. Now Xiao Shi also said so, you should believe it. Mu Yao came over, picked up the cup of animal milk on the table and smelled it. Did I handle it wrong? Forget it, Xiao Fang, you should just drink a little, this animal milk is precious. I'm full, you give it to Xiao Shi. Fang Cheng quickly took out a tissue to wipe his mouth, stood up and ran away. As expected, Teacher Mu looked at Mu Yunshi again. Xiao Shi. Mom, I have been weaned for many years, don't you know? This instantly choked Teacher Mu, and then she said unhappily, What nonsense are you talking about? You have to drink this beast milk today, whether you want or not. After saying that, he put the beast milk in front of her with a slap, and then sat opposite her, looking like I'm watching you drink. Fang Cheng sat on the sofa in the living room, looking at Mu Yunshi's face full of reluctance, and couldn't help but feel funny in his heart. This girl is really one thing in front of her and another behind her. She was not like this last night. She drank so happily, not like now with a face full of dissatisfaction and grievance. But it's no wonder that Teacher Mu is heartbroken. The milk of AD level alien beast costs 500,000 yuan per liter, and that cup is at least 100,000 yuan. It's a pity to just pour it out like this. After a breakfast of resistance and submission, the 3 came to the Lingqi Guild. Sister Xiao Tang, why are you here today? Where's Sister Xiao Lan? Tang Li rolled her eyes at Fang Cheng and said unhappily, You little heartless guy, you only know your Sister Xiao Lan. Doesn't Sister treat you well? Look at what Sister said. You are the wife of the president of our guild. Isn't it surprising that you are standing here? If I were you, I would deduct Sister Xiao Lan's salary and always ask you to cover for me. Sister hired a waiter, not a young lady. Tang Li smiled slightly, You are just a chatterbox. What do you want to do this time? I haven't seen Sister Xiao Tang for a long time. Of course, I came here to see our beautiful and generous Sister Xiao Tang. Go away, men's mouths are deceiving, sister won't fall for your tricks. Tang Li said this, but she was already smiling happily in her heart. Let alone women, everyone likes to hear compliments, let alone compliments from the opposite gender. Little Sister Tang, does our guild still have evolution crystals? Any level will do. Evolution crystal. Tang Li subconsciously glanced at Mu Yunxi behind Fang Cheng, and then said to Fang Cheng unhappily, it was among the prizes of the last competition, and it's S level, why didn't you choose it? Fang Cheng said with a distressed look, didn't you expect this? No, our guild is so big, but we don't have evolution crystals. The star source crystal used for evolution requires 30 fragments to synthesize one. Do you think it's a star crystal, and it will be complete when it explodes? If you can wait, I can help you ask other branches, but the price will definitely not be cheap. Quote, how long will it take? 3 days at the fastest and a week at the slowest. And because it's a secondment, there is no discount or credit, so you may not be able to afford it. Quote, Fang Cheng calculated for a while, and suddenly asked, by the way, where is Sister Gong Yu? I haven't seen her for several days. Tang Li laughed. You finally remembered her. I heard from Brother Wu that she is a rich woman. She should have a lot of crystals like this, right? It's not as easy as you think, brat. Didn't I tell you before? It takes 30 fragments to synthesize a crystal, and even the lowest level B-level crystal has a fragment explosion rate of less than 1,000th. But, at this point, Tang Li took out a metal box from the bracelet and slapped it in front of Fang Cheng's eyes. But when Xiao Yu left, she said that when you think of her, let me give this to you. What is it? Fang Cheng picked up the box suspiciously and opened it to see, S-level star source crystal. Sister Tang, didn't you just say you didn't have it? There's none in the guild. This is what Xiao Yu left for you. Left for me. Where is she? She's home. Didn't your brother Wu tell you about her situation? With her current condition, if she stays outside for a long time, her family will be worried. She's dying, with less than 2 years to live. Fang Cheng nodded, glanced at the star source crystal in his hand, and muttered to himself, this favor. What did you say? Tang Li looked at Fang Cheng curiously. By the way, how did she know I needed this? Tang Li smiled and said, I guess I guessed it, what do you think? Fang Cheng smiled slightly. You guessed it right, Sister Tang, I want to rent an evolution room. No need to rent, you are now a member of our guild, you can use it for free. After that, he checked for Fang Cheng on the computer. I have opened it for you, evolution room number 9. After that, he handed a door card to Fang Cheng. Fang Cheng took the room card and entered the evolution room with Mu Yunxi. Being alone with Fang Cheng in the cramped space, the ambiguous atmosphere made Mu Yunxi's heartbeat speed up involuntarily, and a blush appeared on her face. The little head couldn't help but think of the scene of eating supper together last night. There seemed to be a lingering warmth in her mouth, and there seemed to be a small voice in her heart whispering that she wanted to taste it again. However, a trace of shyness enveloped her like a veil, making it difficult for her to speak. Fang Cheng saw her standing there motionless, and finally discovered her abnormality. He walked over and jumped his head. Then he said with a playful smile, Little girl, what are you thinking about in your head? Mu Yunxi subconsciously covered her head, and was a little confused by this sudden move. Then she glared at the male protagonist with a reproachful look, her cheeks became more and more red, and the originally tangled thoughts were temporarily thrown behind her by this interruption. Still watching, hurry up and evolve. After saying that, he pulled her hand and slapped the evolution crystal into her hand. Poor parents in the world. Teacher Mu stood quietly outside the evolution room, looking a little anxious, staring at the door of the evolution room, rubbing his arms from time to time with his hands. On the one hand, she silently prayed for her daughter, hoping that she could successfully complete the evolution, but on the other hand, she was worried that her daughter would fail in the evolution. The door of the evolution room opened, and seeing Fang Cheng coming out, Teacher Mu hurried to greet him. How is Xiao Fang and Xiao Shi? Fang Cheng smiled slightly. Don't worry, everything is going well. She will be out soon. You go in first, I'll buy her some equipment. Fang Cheng held her waist and sent her into the evolution room, but he was stunned when he looked back. Why does it feel like giving birth in the hospital? Look how nervous the mother-in-law is. Fang Cheng shook his head and couldn't help laughing. As time passed bit by bit, Mu Yunshi's light cocoon slowly spread out like petals in the soft halo. The whole evolution room was instantly illuminated by the fire. A red cat-eared girl quietly appeared, curled up on the ground like a baby, with a layer of holy light all around her. Her slender body and every line showed unparalleled softness and elegance, which fully interpreted the beauty of the girl. The light gradually faded, revealing a head of red hair as gorgeous as flames, spreading wantonly and slightly flickering with afterglow. The cat ears are delicate and smart, as if they can capture the slightest sound around at any time. The face is as exquisite as a sculpture, the white skin is slightly flushed, the long eyelashes tremble gently, slowly open the eyes, and look around blankly. The tender and rosy lips open slightly. Mom, where is Fang Cheng? Xiao Fang went to buy equipment for you, put on your clothes first. Oh, Mu Yunshi took the clothes handed by Teacher Mu, but she felt a little lost inexplicably. At this time, Fang Cheng cleared his throat outside, then pushed the door and walked in. How does the saying go? It is better to let people know than to let them see. Some things are better not to be exposed, so as to avoid embarrassment. But Mu Yunshi may not think so. The girl thinks it is very exciting. Is this your final form? Shouldn't it be a lynx? What lynx? It's so ugly. What? I am afraid that you don't like it, so I deliberately changed it into this form. Fang Cheng looked at Teacher Mu in confusion. The latter lowered his head shyly and said, I didn't think so much before. Besides, I didn't know what you liked at that time. Are you overthinking it again? I just didn't expect that the beast girl can choose her own form when evolving. I feel that I have learned something new. Mu Yunshi corrected. It's not that you can change at will. I heard from the instructor that only beast girls above a level can do it, and no matter how they change, they will retain the characteristics of the beasts. So Teacher Mu did his best at that time. Next, Fang Cheng used the skill of One Leaf Blinds the Eyes to hide Mu Yunshi's talent to A-level Fire Cloud Beast. Beast Mother, Mu Yunshi. Master, Fang Cheng. Age, 18. Strength level, F. Upgrade progress, 78%. Strength, 156. Agility, 312. Spirit, 156. Stamina, 156. Maximum energy, 720. Beast form, X-level Sky Abyss Giant Spirit Fire Spirit Star Flame Lynx. Growth talent, 10 stars. Skills, Blazing Wind Blade Level 1 Explosive Bomb Level 1. Loyalty, 100%. Favorability, 100%. Return ability, Speed plus 55%, Fire Resistance plus 100%, Fire Ability Amplitude 35% not activated. Return ratio, 100%. Taming value, 100/100ths. Life countdown, 146,105 days. Because she evolved too late, she is also an EX level beast girl, but her attributes are not as good as those of Teacher Mu. Fang Cheng, didn't you go to buy me equipment? Where is my equipment? Mu Yunshi stretched out her hand in front of Fang Cheng and said. Don't mention it. I just remembered when I got there that I don't even know your attributes. Humph. Mu Yunshi snorted unhappily, as if she had seen through you long ago. You are a speed type. I think you are more suitable for a short blade or a fist blade. Choose one. No, I want to see it first. Finally, she came to the weapon counter and picked 2D level short knives. When inserted together, they look like a small red wooden stick. When the two ends are pulled apart, they become two short knives with a width of 2 fingers. After Fang Cheng paid, the total amount was 1.8 million, and this was the price after the discount. Beastmasters earn a lot and spend a lot, including food, drink, and use. The last 5 million bonus is almost gone in just a few days. To be honest, you can't use a D-level weapon now. You might as well buy a better one after upgrading. Mu Yunshi liked the short knife in her hand very much. When she heard Fang Cheng's words, she snorted and said, I think you are reluctant to spend money. Besides, what you are doing is actually an investment. I have a weapon that suits me. How can I make less money for you in the future? I can't argue with you. Okay, let's go to the F-level dungeon now and let you upgrade earlier. No, I heard from my mother that you guys went directly to the D-level dungeon after the E-level. We have finished the D-level dungeon. How about we go to brush the D-level dungeon? Quote. You can't use the D-level star crystals. You have to reach at least E-level to use them. I have star crystals. After saying that, she took out a handful of F-level star crystals from her bracelet. These were all distributed during the last training camp. I have kept them and have not used them. Logically speaking, with my current talent, these star crystals are enough to upgrade. Why brush them? After eating these star crystals, go home and sleep directly. It's a blink of an eye to use D-level star crystals to upgrade to D-level, but 200 points of taming value cannot be achieved overnight. Shen Tuao was discharged from the hospital. Last time, when he listened to Koizumi Mako telling the story of the widow, he accidentally plugged the switch. The miserable situation made a group of old Western doctors drop their jaws. At the same time, they were puzzled. What on earth did the dignified head of the Shen Tu family do to make him so upset that he actually plugged the switch? Shen Tu sang, I'm so happy to see you come back safely. I didn't mean to do that last time. Please forgive me. In the villa of the Shen Tu family, the first thing Shen Tu Hao did after being discharged from the hospital was to look for Koizumi Mako. Seeing Koizumi Mako approaching, Shen Tu Hao quickly changed a chair for himself and subconsciously kept a distance from her. This woman was really electric. Miss Mako, when are you going to do it? Kill Fang Cheng, you fool, and leave quickly. I can't stand your tossing anymore. We want to hurry up, but that kid won't leave the city, and we don't have a chance. After saying that, he sat next to Shen Tu Hao, propped up his chin, and looked at him with resentment. If he doesn't leave the city, can't you think of a solution? How about Shen Tu sang, can you help me think of one? He was born in the slums, and many people in the slums are scavengers. They will go to the abandoned base outside the city to scavenge under the organization of the scavenging company. He is already a beastmaster now, so why would he care about the lives of those people? Our dragon country is different from your plaster country. We will despise those who forget their roots. At that time, even if he wants those people to die, he will have to go. If he doesn't go, he will be ungrateful. Hypocrisy. Quote, this is not hypocrisy, this is justice, and it is the best way to deal with the dragon people. In dragon country, you can be casual, but you cannot be immoral, and you know small etiquette but not great justice, and you are particular about small matters but not great virtues. Quote, Shen Tu song, I need to remind you that you are no longer a dragon person. Shen Tuao was speechless for a moment, and then said, do you have a better way? Koizumi Mazi laughed. Sure enough, dragon people understand dragon people best. By the way, what are people like you called in dragon country? Guzi, right. Chapter 91. The river mouth base, officially numbered C2-1, was built between two mountains. It was originally a dam before the abyss came. During the turbulent years after the abyss came, the survivors transformed it into a base, and finally the base was abandoned with the reconstruction of the Dragon Kingdom. Now it is contracted by a scavenging company called Pioneer, which is organizing people to dismantle equipment here, and most importantly, collect crystals and some beast materials left by predecessors. To put it bluntly, the practice of the scavenging company is like opening a container blind box, whether it is profitable or not depends on luck. With a whistle, it is time for lunch. Tian Chunrao sat on the ground wearing a worn-out safety helmet and dusty work clothes. Sister-in-law Tian forgot to bring lunch again. Here, Bao Lauer handed her an aluminum lunch box. The neighbors already knew that Su Yaki was dead, and Tian Chunrao's wish to be honored by her daughter was dashed. At first, everyone was gloating, but after all, people are kind-hearted. Seeing Tian Chunrao lose her soul day by day, sometimes in the dead of night, she would wake up the neighbors crying. Gradually, some people began to feel sorry for her. After all, they were old neighbors for many years and a group of people struggling at the bottom of society. People around her also began to care about her and enlighten her. Tian Chunrao looked at the lunchbox in front of her, then raised her head to Bao Lauer and shook her head slowly. I'm not hungry, you guys eat. You don't even have the strength to shake your head, and you still say you're not hungry. Take it and eat it quickly, you'll have the strength to work after you finish eating. At this time, Ma Ju also came over. Yes, Tian's sister, Bao Lauer is right, people are iron and rice is steel, how can you not eat? Ma Ju took the lunchbox from Bao Lao's hand and stuffed it into Tian Chunrao's hand, and then wiped the spoon for eating carefully and stuffed it into her other hand. Hurry up and eat, if Xiaoqi knows you're like this now, she won't be happy. Seeing that Tian Chunrao was still motionless, Ma Ju couldn't help but look at Bao Lao, who sighed and shook his head. Everyone pulled her out to work, on the one hand, to let her vent her depression. At least when she had something to do, she wouldn't have time to think about those sad things. On the other hand, if she was left alone at home, no one would know if she died. At this moment, a man suddenly fell from the sky. He fell to the ground with a thud, shocking everyone. Isn't this the mercenary hired by the boss? After saying that, the man looked up and looked at the sky. Above was a dilapidated steel dome. The man should have been on guard on the dome and accidentally fell down. Suddenly, a big hole was torn in the dome above the head by two sickle-like arms, and a woman with a human upper body and a steel mantis lower body crawled in and smiled at the people below. The smile was a bit crazy and a bit weird. The people below were stunned for at least a second, and then they started to explode. In an instant, the crowd splashed like a waterfall falling to the ground, and Tian Chunrao was knocked to the ground before he could react. Long Erpo, who was running behind, saw it and subconsciously tried to help him, but was also stepped on by someone. Finally, it was Ma Lao San and Wang Laoer who were in the front, desperately separating the crowd. The two were then helped up by Ma Ju and Bao Laoer, and then they carried one person each and ran out in a swarm. The mercenaries outside were rushing over here, and met the fleeing crowd, so they couldn't get in for a while. At this time, 17 or 18 cyborgs and mechanical beast girls jumped down from the dome. They had hideous faces, cruel and fierce eyes, and wielded sharp blades in their hands, slashing at everyone they met. They didn't even leave a whole body, let alone mercy. In order to save time, some released flames and instantly ignited the scavengers, causing them to struggle painfully in the raging fire and turn into charcoal in the blink of an eye. Some of them ejected several flying blades from their bodies, like a cutting machine, and instantly cut people into several pieces wherever they went, and blood rushed out. Others were as fast as ghosts, chasing after the scavengers, and their heads flew up as soon as they raised their hands and knives fell. What's worse, they directly launched a powerful shock wave, which caused a group of scavengers to rupture their internal organs and bleed to death. Various supernatural martial arts raged through the crowd like a storm of death. The scavengers were just ordinary people and were slaughtered before they could react. Limbs flew everywhere and blood stained the ground red. They were inside. The killing was enjoyable, but the mercenaries outside were blocked outside the crowd and could not get in at all. After finally rushing in, one or two of them were no match for them and were torn into pieces in a few seconds. Manager Tian of Pioneer Company, the foreman of the scavengers, saw the bloody scene through the monitor, and his originally arrogant face was immediately terrified. He staggered back several steps and sat on the ground. Pointing at the monitor, he shouted at the mercenaries in a panic. His voice changed, and he stammered, "Go, go, go, run, run." Then he turned around desperately, stepped on his weak legs, stumbled and fled desperately, and looked extremely embarrassed, without a trace of his usual domineering appearance. Although the mercenaries hesitated, they followed him and left in a panic under his urging, completely abandoning the scavengers. Manager Tian killed everyone this time. Koizumi Asako only had 34 people this time, while the mercenaries hired by Pioneer Company had more than 100 people, less than a quarter of the number of mercenaries. With the strength of these mercenaries, if they fought head-on, Koizumi Asako's people would all have to die here today. But the frightened manager Tian wanted to escape. It would be fine if he escaped by himself, but he also ordered the mercenaries to escape with him. After running away, the spirit in his heart was lost, and he lost the courage to fight like a defeated soldier. "Major, as you expected, they have already started to escape." A spy from the plaster country looked at the monitor in his hand and reported to Koizumi Asako with a happy face. Koizumi Asako smiled slightly. "It's time to hunt. Tell the people inside not to kill any more. There are still civilians inside. Others, follow me to chase." Koizumi Asako also knew that with the few people she had, she couldn't take this base at all. But this is long country, she couldn't transfer more people. So they used a little trick, using a cruel and bloody way to scare the managers. These people were used to living a life of luxury and their psychological defenses were the most vulnerable. The most important thing is that everyone in the base has to listen to them. As long as these people order the mercenaries to retreat, they will have one foot in the graveyard. Koizumi Mako led the people to chase, starting from the last person. When the mercenary captain reacted, there were less than 30 people around him, and it was obviously too late. Less than an hour later, in the wilderness 5 kilometers away from the estuary base, a group of plaster country spies were holding heads with long knives and celebrating their victory arrogantly. Long live, long live. The 34 of them in Long Country destroyed a mercenary group of more than 100 people. This was simply a miracle for them. The one who led them to create this miracle was their Major Miss Mako. Shen Tu-song, I've finished my work here, now it's up to you. Shen Tuao hung up the phone with Koizumi Mako, and now he was just waiting for the matter to be reported, so that he could ask someone to go to the Spiritual Contract Guild for help. It is worth mentioning that in order to kill Feng Cheng, Pioneer Company was secretly acquired by him last night. In the wilderness, a sci-fi off-road vehicle was speeding. The silver-blue car body, deep windows, and flames spraying from the rear of the car passed by like lightning, leaving a brilliant track, and then disappeared at the end. Because it uses advanced anti-gravity technology, it can not only adapt to various complex terrains, but also provide excellent shock absorption. Even in this rugged wilderness, Feng Cheng and Teacher Mu sitting inside are no different from sitting on the sofa at home. As for Mu Yunxi, this girl is driving in the front. She likes this kind of speed and passion, and she especially likes manual driving. The steering wheel is in her hand, turning left and right, and she drives it very smoothly. Feng Cheng, when will we change to a bigger bracelet? If we have time to go home and sell the spoils, we don't know how many monsters we will kill. The 3 of them just came out of the sea-level copy. In the face of Mu Yunxi's complaints, it's not that the space of the 3 people's bracelets is too small. The space capacity of the S-level bracelet is equivalent to 2 standard containers. The reason why they have to run back and forth to the city twice a day like this is that they are all single-handed in the copy, and they don't have to share the account with others. Just use it carefully first. The largest bracelet you can buy in Yucheng is only S-level. If you want to buy a bigger one, you have to go to a bigger city. When are we going? Mu Yunxi turned around and looked at Feng Cheng expectantly. Because Feng Cheng and Teacher Mu were sitting in the back seat, she was the driver in the front. Hey, look ahead, don't look at me. HMPH. Mu Yunxi snorted proudly, sat down obediently in the driver's seat, supported the steering wheel with her hands, and pressed her back tightly against the back of the chair. Tell me, when are we going? There is still a week before the regional competition. Although I am participating in the competition, I can finally leave Yucheng and go out to see the outside world. With the advent of the Tianyuan, Longguo has become more vast, and the distance between cities is at least thousands of kilometers, and they have to face the attacks of strange beasts along the way. If you want to visit a neighboring city, you can't take the City Express, you can only go through the Space Gate. The bodies of ordinary people can only teleport over short distances, and the bodies cannot withstand the pressure of space for long-distance teleportation. Therefore, at least 60% of the people in a city will never have the opportunity to leave their birthplace in their lifetime. Speaking of this, we have to mention the contract training. In addition to helping students make up for some beast control knowledge, this training also has a task to improve the physical fitness of students. Mu Yunxi's 78% upgrade progress was originally intended to enable her to go to school after being admitted to her ideal university, that is, to be able to use the Space Gate. However, with her physical fitness at the time, she could only teleport to the neighboring city. If the university she was admitted to was far away, she could only jump over step by step like playing checkers. I heard that Longguo was building armored trains and safe passages between cities to make it convenient for ordinary people to travel. But for a small place like Yucheng, it is unknown when it will be open to traffic. Feng Chengdu no longer cares about these things. He and Teacher Mu have reached sea level. Mu Yunxi will be able to upgrade to sea level after eating the star crystals in her hand this time. Feng Cheng was glad that he was the only one who could see the taming value, otherwise he really didn't know how to explain to Teacher Mu the more than 100 taming points he got from talking nonsense with Xiao Shi. Feng Cheng, look ahead. Mu Yunxi, who was driving in the front, suddenly said. Fang Cheng took a look and saw a group of mercenaries. The wasteland-style chariot was their signature. They should be out hunting. Stay away and don't provoke them. It's different outside the city. No matter who you meet on the way, they may become robbers. With Fang Cheng's current strength, he is not afraid of them, but he doesn't want to cause himself unnecessary trouble. The main reason is that most of the mercenaries who take the initiative to rob are poor. At the same time, the smell of human blood can easily attract strange beasts, which will delay time. Mu Yunxi turned the steering wheel and made the car turn 90 degrees, so that the two people in the back seat were directly pressed against the car window. Xiaoxi, why are you still so reckless? Are you doing this on purpose? Hearing her mother's complaints, Mu Yunxi laughed. This is for you two created the opportunity, and you blame me. You really don't know how to appreciate kindness. After saying that, she looked at the radar and then the rearview mirror. Oh no, Fang Cheng and his men seem to be chasing us. Stop the car. Are you going to kill someone again? Mu Yunxi looked excited. Why are you so excited? No, I just feel a little itchy recently. Quote. She used to be a weakling in combat, but now that her bloodline has awakened, she has been trained by Fang Cheng for a period of time. Now, facing 5 or 6 sea mercenaries at the same time, she kills them as easily as cutting melons and vegetables. As soon as the car stopped, the 5 chariots of the mercenaries behind instantly surrounded the 3 of them. The small plasma cannons on the roof were instantly activated, making a mechanical sound, and the muzzles were all aimed at the car of Fang Cheng and the other 2. At this time, a young man got off the opposite car. He was wearing a black battle suit and carrying 2 swords. He had long hair parted in the middle, and his face was pale and his lips were bloody. He looked like he had just drunk blood, and there was a hint of weirdness in his sickness. Get out of the car. When the sick man said this, his right hand was already on the hilt of the knife. Fang Cheng sat in the car and used the delusion-breaking spiritual eye to look at all the mercenaries. No matter if they were hiding in the car or standing outside the car, they could not escape the delusion-breaking spiritual eye's peeping. The highest level was the sick man in front of him, with a B level upgrade progress of 56%. The lowest level was the driver in the car on the right, who was only D level. Whether it was B level or D level, the talent was poor, and there was not even an S level. With the current strength of Fang Cheng and the other 2, it would take less than 2 minutes to kill all these people. But the other party was not like other robbers, who were eager to open fire before the car stopped. They wanted to fight a quick battle, and the most important thing was that they did not want others to obtain too much of their biological information. Although the Dragon Kingdom could not control the wilderness, there was a wanted order. Unless you stayed in the wilderness for your whole life and did not return to the city, once you were on the wanted order, as long as you approached the defense tower outside the city, the system would automatically identify you, and then you would be bombarded with heavy plasma cannons. Is Fang Cheng going to do it? Mu Yunxi had already grasped her dagger with both hands, looking eager to try. We are not vicious robbers. Let's get off the car and see what they want to do. If they really don't know how to live or die, it's not too late to take action later. Mu Yunxi nodded and followed Fang Cheng and her mother out of the car. The sick man saw that it seemed to be 3 siblings, dressed neatly, and they didn't seem to be very strong, so he secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Where are you from? Fang Cheng said. Mushroom Forest Dungeon. Mushroom Forest Dungeon. That's a C-level dungeon, just the 3 of you. Fang Cheng smiled and said, we're just going to take a look. The sick man showed an expression that was not so bad, and asked, did you see the Red Scorpion mercenary group on the road? Red Scorpion mercenary group. Seeing Fang Cheng's puzzled face, the sick man thought to himself, sure enough, they are 3 weaklings, they don't even know the Red Scorpion mercenary group. Quote. There is a red scorpion on the car. Fang Cheng shook his head. They really didn't see it. Just then, someone on one of the chariots suddenly said, brother, I just received news that the red scorpions have arrived at the estuary base. Those grandsons are so fast. The sick man looked very angry. Just when he was about to get in the car to chase, he turned back and said to Fang Cheng and the other 2, okay, get in the car and go back. It's not peaceful outside recently. Don't hang around outside if you have nothing to do. Looking at the yellow sand left by the 5 chariots speeding away, Fang Cheng was thoughtful. It seemed that something really happened. The mercenaries he met along the way didn't rob people. Why did Fang Cheng and the others leave like this? Mu Yunxi looked puzzled. I don't know. Okay, let's go home quickly. It's getting late. By the way, can you get promoted to Class C today? Don't call me a girl anymore. You'll die if you call me Xiao Shi. In the past, when Teacher Mu saw Mu Yunxi, she would say a few words to Fang Cheng when she talked to him like this. Now she is completely numb. This girl is very powerful when she opens her mouth. Mu Yunxi jumped into the car first in anger and slammed the door shut. Teacher Mu said to Fang Cheng outside the car, Xiao Fang, Xiao Shi has been promoted to C level so quickly, is her taming value enough? Fang Cheng smiled and said, Teacher Mu, how hard you have worked during this period, don't you know it yourself? Teacher Mu blushed and punched Fang Cheng shyly. You are talking nonsense, be careful that the child hears it, then I will be too embarrassed to see anyone. Fang Cheng smiled slightly, Teacher Mu, this is a typical ostrich mentality, Xiao Shi, a top student, knows as much about taming value as you, a mother. Speaking of this, it seems that I am also an ostrich, but judging from Teacher Mu's appearance, she should not know it yet. Late at night, Mu Yunxi took the last star crystal, and the upgraded glow appeared on her body. Beast Mother. Mu Yunxi. Master. Fang Cheng. Age. 18. Strength level. C. Upgrade progress. 0%. Strength. 2076. Agility. 3952. Spirit. 2086. Stamina. 1976. Maximum energy. 1720. Beast form. X level Sky Abyss Giant Spirit Fire Spirit Star Flame Lynx. Growth talent. 10 stars. Skills. Blazing Wind Blade Level 2 Explosive Bomb Level 1. Loyalty. 100%. Favorability. 100%. Return ability. Speed plus 35%. Fire resistance plus 80%. Fire ability amplitude 25% not activated. Return ratio. 100%. Taming value. 100/100ths. Life countdown. 292,165 days. Although Mu Yunxi evolved late, judging from her current data, after both of them broke through 1,000, the gap between her and Mu Yao did not seem to be that big. At the same time, this girl looked innocent, but her character was very lively. On the battlefield, she was even more of a female man who liked close combat. As a mother, Teacher Mu felt sorry for her daughter. For her safety, she gave her the Beast Soul Crystal and upgraded the Blazing Wind Blade to level 2. She wanted to make up for her lack of defense with the advantage of speed. The next day, the three of them came to the Spiritual Contract Guild, first sold the spoils of yesterday, and then bought some energy recovery potions for Mu Yunxi. Teacher Mu's super recovery ability was only fed back to Fang Cheng. Beast girls cannot share with each other. As for Gong Yu's desire to extend her life by contracting with Fang Cheng, it was actually a loophole in the rules. Under the power of a high-level contract, the Beast Girl will be bound to the Beastmaster for life, and Gong Yu's injuries will be transferred to Fang Cheng, and Fang Cheng can use Teacher Mu's powerful healing ability to recover, which will also recover Gong Yu in disguise. So she has to find a Beastmaster with strong vitality, and because it is a high-level contract, the character of the Beastmaster is very important to her, so she has to choose carefully. For Mu Yunxi, as long as Fang Cheng does not die, she can live forever. But life binding can only help her recover blood, but not energy. Energy is the premise for performing supernatural powers and all skills. Fang Cheng, come here. Just as Fang Cheng was buying recovery potions for Mu Yunxi at the counter, Tang Li suddenly appeared and called him in. What's wrong, little sister Tang? Fang Cheng looked cautious, mainly because Tang Li was not a good person, and he would be tricked by her if he was not careful. Seeing her serious expression today, I wonder what she is up to. I want you to go on a mission. Fang Cheng asked tentatively. Sister Tang, didn't we agree before? I cannot do the mission. Tang Li nodded. I know, but this mission is a little special. After that, she handed a tablet to Fang Cheng, which was playing a video, which was the surveillance footage recorded by the Pioneer Company at the Heko base. 8 Beast Masters and Beast Girls transformed by prosthetics slaughtered a group of unarmed wasteland workers, and their methods were extremely cruel, bloody scenes. Fang Cheng stared at the inhumane massacre scene on the screen without blinking, while Tang Li stared at his face. At this moment, Fang Cheng's expression seemed to be frozen, without any ripples. This made Tang Li's heart confused. What was this kid's expression? No, it was completely expressionless. Seeing such a scene, how could he not have any expression at all? But if you look closely, you will find that there is a ball of anger hidden deep in his eyes, which is a kind of anger that is suppressed but may burst out at any time. The veins on the back of the hand holding the tablet have popped out. Fearing that he might accidentally crush Tang Li's tablet, Fang Cheng returned the tablet to her before she finished watching it. You're not going to watch it anymore. Tang Li looked puzzled. Nothing to see. I've seen a lot of things like this in the wild these days. Don't you realize that you might know some of these people? Fang Cheng really didn't notice it just now, but after hearing what Tang Li said, he knew without thinking that they were his former neighbors, because most of them were scavengers, including Aunt Lin who raised him, who was one of them when she was alive. Fang Cheng, a time traveler who took over the magpie's nest, actually had no feelings for these people. Even in the original owner's memory, these people were mostly indifferent. The only thing that touched Fang Cheng was that these neighbors took good care of the original owner during the days when Aunt Lin passed away. At least the original owner's relief money was applied for by Bao Lauer and others. Fang Cheng felt a little depressed. He might vent when he was alone, but in front of Tang Li, he had to change the subject and said, "Who are those people? Why do they look like a group of disabled people? In Longguo, prosthetics are provided to disabled people. Who would install prosthetics for themselves? Although some prostheses can be very powerful, once they are installed, the meridians of the body will be damaged, whether it is the effect of taking star crystals or personal talents, they will be greatly reduced, and personal development will be greatly restricted. So in Longguo, this is putting the cart before the horse. No one would be stupid enough to install a prosthesis unless they are disabled." Tang Li said unhappily, "What disabled people? If I guess correctly, these people are all spies from the plaster country." People from the plaster country. Fang Cheng was stunned. When he thought of the previous scene, he became even more angry. Yes, they are different from us. They worship technology, or more precisely, they have an almost paranoid worship of prostheses. At first, some people with poor talents underwent body modification and used prostheses to make themselves more powerful. Later, with the development of the times, prostheses became stronger and stronger. Some people with good talents, unable to bear the slow upgrade, also underwent prosthesis modification in order to show off their strength for a while. This triggered a chain reaction. Now in plaster country, prosthesis modification has become a trend. Don't they know that after the prosthesis modification, the meridians are lost and true masters cannot be created? Why don't they know? But they can't turn back now. If you don't modify, others will modify, and others will be stronger than you in the early stage, and you won't live to become a master. And do you know where the first prosthesis with actual combat capabilities in plaster country came from? The two sides of the battle were in chaos. Fang Cheng casually said, "Isn't it the West Coast Federation?" You guessed it right, it's the West Coast Federation. This is their conspiracy against plaster country, so that they can never really become strong, and can only rely on their West Coast Federation forever, and become their pawns against our dragon country. Tell me the details of the mission. Well, did you agree? Yes, I accepted this mission. Tang Li looked at Fang Cheng with a strange face. What's wrong with this kid? He didn't react at all when he said his neighbor was killed. When he heard that the murderer was from plaster country, why did he suddenly become energetic? As long as it's someone from plaster country, just do it. Why are there so many whys? Actually, I discussed this with Lao Wu. You just need to go through the motions for this mission. It's mainly to deal with certain people who use your neighbors to morally blackmail and maliciously slander you. Just a formality. What else do you want? You've seen those people. They're all from plaster country. I can't say they're all elites from plaster country, but at least everyone has some skills. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the guts to enter dragon country. With your current strength, it's not enough for them to fill their teeth. Fang Cheng was too lazy to waste words with her on such meaningless things, so he asked directly, who's leading the team this time? Song Yang, an A-level beastmaster with S-level talent. In addition, you have 50 teammates, and a personal talent. Both Fu and Beast Girl are above B level, and their strength is around B level. At the same time, Pioneer Company has issued a bounty to the 3 major guilds, so there are many people going this time. As long as you don't make trouble, you won't be in any danger. Quote. Fang Cheng was stunned and asked back, if Shenqi Guild and Shuangguang Guild also go, shouldn't I be in more danger? Tang Li smiled slightly. Why are you afraid now? Do you know the consequences of offending people to death? But don't worry, in the face of such a matter of right and wrong, no one dares to take revenge, especially big guilds like Shenqi and Shuangguang. Quote. If Longguo doesn't want to be ruined, no one dares to take revenge in the face of such a matter of right and wrong. But what Tang Li didn't know was that Plaster Country has been trying to conquer the 3 major guilds. Although this seems a bit overconfident, they are indeed always thinking about the 3 major guilds. This time, Koizumi Mako saw the opportunity and took advantage of the hatred between Fang Cheng and the 2 families. He sent Shen Tu out to have secret contact with the 2 families early in the morning. As long as they can kill Fang Cheng this time, Koizumi Mako can let her subordinates commit suicide collectively, so that they can complete the task smoothly, thus ensuring that no one knows about this. Similarly, the fact that they killed Fang Cheng will become a handle for the Plaster Country to control them from now on. If they don't want to be ruined in the Dragon Country, they can only listen to their manipulation in the future. They are familiar with this kind of thing. Shen Tuao was instigated by them in this way. Now he can only be their dog wholeheartedly. Hey, Fang Cheng, when are we going to set off? In the guild hall, Mu Yunxi ran over and grabbed Fang Cheng's hand. Her face was filled with a bright smile, her smart big eyes flickered, and she shook Fang Cheng's hand mischievously. Today we won't go to the dungeon, we'll go to the mission. You mean the mission at the estuary base? How do you know? Mu Yunxi pointed to the information board in the distance and said, look, many people over there are talking about this now. I heard that the gangsters are from the Plaster Country. Is that true? Are you afraid? Mu Yunxi smiled slightly. I'm not afraid of them. As long as I can be with you, I'm not afraid of anything. After saying that, she naturally wanted to lean on Fang Cheng, but at this time she heard Mu Yao say, what are you talking about? Frightened, Mu Yunxi quickly stood up and looked back at Teacher Mu with a complaining face. Mom, where did you go just now? Why did you come back so late? Teacher Mu had a faint apology on her face, but her eyes were still as gentle as water. How do you talk to your mother like that? After that, he took out a white lunch box like a magic trick and handed it to Mu Yunxi. Hey, didn't you say you were hungry before? I bought you dumplings, fried dough sticks and soy milk. Which one do you want to eat? I want them all. I won't leave any for that guy. After saying that, he glared at Fang Cheng. Teacher Mu always had a gentle smile in her eyes, and she didn't bother with her daughter. She walked to Fang Cheng naturally, stretched out her hand and gently adjusted his collar. The action was gentle and delicate, showing the care of a good wife and mother. Xiao Fang, are we going to brush the dungeon today? Mu Yunxi held a dumpling in her mouth, and before Fang Cheng could answer, she said vaguely, no, your Xiao Fang said, let's go on a mission today. Task. Teacher Mu's face was a little surprised, but she still said gently, why did you suddenly change your mind? But it doesn't matter, I support you in whatever decision you make. Mom, aren't you curious at all? You agreed so quickly. Mu Yunxi was curious, and at the same time a little disappointed. Mom's character was too weak, and she listened to that guy in everything. I'm not curious. I'm Xiao Fang's beast mother. If I don't listen to him, how can I listen to you, a little girl? Mom, I'm your daughter. Then I can't listen to you. How can a mother listen to her daughter? At this time, Song Yang came. He was in his 30s, tall and steady. His deep eyes showed the maturity of vicissitudes of life. He was wearing a battle armor that showed his competence and perseverance, making people feel instantly trustworthy. Fang Cheng, I am. Fang Cheng nodded and asked, are you Brother Song? Song Yang nodded. Sister Xiao Tang told you everything, right? I told you when we're leaving. Are you ready? If possible, we can leave now. I've been ready for a long time and have been waiting for you here. Have you checked the recovery potions, food, and equipment? We may be gone for 3 or 4 days this time. You also know that some exotic beasts cannot be eaten. If we can't hunt, we can only eat what we bring. By the way, can you swim? The estuary base is built on a dam, and there is a certain chance of falling into the water. If you can't swim, remember to bring life-saving equipment. These are all in the guild. Fang Cheng can swim, so he looked at Teacher Mu and Mu Yunxi, and they also said that there was no problem. Now there was only food left to prepare, so Teacher Mu went to buy it immediately. As for the equipment, when selling the spoils this morning, the three of them just changed to a set of A-level equipment. After everything was ready, Song Yang led the team to set off. There were 9 vehicles in total, all in the same wasteland style. Although they looked cool, they still used old-fashioned wheels. No matter how good the shock absorption effect was, running in the wilderness could make people shake out their breakfast. So Fang Cheng did not squeeze into a car with them, but drove his own. Although the seller said it was an off-road vehicle, whether it was the body defense or the machine gun on the roof, it was not inferior to their tanks at all. And it was faster and more comfortable to ride. An hour later, when the convoy arrived near the estuary base, many corpses were seen on the roadside. At this time, several mercenaries came out from behind the mound in front and kept waving to the convoy. Song Yang asked someone to stop the car, leaned on the car window and asked, "Are you from the Red Scorpion mercenary group? What happened?" The man nodded. "Are you from the Lingqi Guild? You can't go any further. There are all strange beasts in front. The smell of human blood is like catnip to alien beasts." When Koizumi Meiko was at the estuary base, she deliberately made it so bloody, on the one hand to scare the executives of Pioneer Company, and on the other hand to attract alien beasts. They were alone in the deep. If there were no alien beasts to cover them, they would easily be wiped out by the mercenaries of Dragon Country, and there would be no chance to deal with Fang Cheng. As for whether they would be self-defeating and be killed by alien beasts, they were naturally prepared for this. The blood flowing in the bodies of these prosthetic modifiers was not blood, but a black biotechnology fluid like motor oil. In addition to the function of blood, it can also make them look like ordinary stones in the eyes of low-level monsters. Some people in the human race can awaken similar abilities and block the perception of monsters, but they are rare and cannot allow all people to have this ability. Therefore, it is easy for him to have a sense of superiority towards these modified people. The people of Plaster Country are keen on this kind of prosthetic modification, and being able to obtain this kind of superiority is also one aspect. Song Yang subconsciously looked in the direction pointed by the mercenary, turned back and asked, "Have you seen the people from the Shenqi and Shuangguang guilds here?" "I saw them, and they just passed by not long ago." Song Yang nodded. "Do you need help?" "Not for the time being. Our boss is injured, and we are preparing to go back. Be careful on the road." After saying that, Song Yang ordered the convoy to continue forward. After crossing a hill, he saw the people from the Shenqi and Shuangguang guilds in the open space in front. "Song Yang, is there no one left in your Lingqi guild? Why did you send a piece of trash like you? You scared me with your sudden movements. Shaosan, why did you come just now? Come here quickly. What are you still standing there for? I'm not a cannibal." The leader of the Shuangguang guild this time is Lu Weixin, and the leader of the Shenqi guild is Xie Mingwu. Although they are now angry with Song Yang, they are high school classmates with Song Yang. Later, because Song Yang's college entrance examination score was not as high as theirs, the three went to different universities. When they met again, Xie Mingwu, who had the best talent, went to the Shenqi guild, the second Lu Weixin went to the Shuangguang guild, and the third Song Yang went to the Lingqi guild, and he was the kind of person who had to take the Lingqi guild exam twice. Song Yang jumped out of the car, picked up 2 stones from the ground, and threw one to each of them. "Why are you two fools here?" Fang Cheng sat in the car and watched Song Yang throwing stones at the 2 of them. He turned around and said to Teacher Mu, "Song Yang doesn't seem to be so dull. He knows how to joke." Teacher Mu smiled slightly. Maybe he met an acquaintance. Some introverted people don't know how to express themselves in front of outsiders, making people mistakenly think they are aloof. In front of acquaintances, they act crazy. Mu Yunxi, who was sitting in the front row, turned her head and said, "Didn't they say that the relationship between the 3 major guilds is not good? How come the relationship between the 3 of them looks like brothers?" Fang Cheng shook his head and continued to look out. Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin saw the stone flying, and they jumped away with laughter. Then, when Song Yang was not prepared, they quickly went around Song Yang, one grabbing his left hand and the other grabbing his right hand. Seeing that Song Yang was captured, the two of them couldn't help but laugh. Just as they were proud, they saw Song Yang flip forward, straighten the joints of his hands, and directly lifted the two of them up. While the two were surprised, it was Song Yang's turn to laugh. Xie Mingwu was shocked and grabbed Song Yang's hand, saying with a bad face, You little third party, let go quickly, my brothers are watching behind." Lu Weixin on the other hand had the same expression as him. Song Yang held the two of them and laughed, "Who is the waste now? You are always okay, right? Go to you." Song Yang threw the two of them far away with one hand each. Xie Mingwu got up from the ground and said with a puzzled look, "I haven't seen you for a while, and your strength has improved." Another Lu Weixin said unconvincedly, "It may be that his sister-in-law feeds him well, and it has nothing to do with him. By the way, where is Wudong?" Wudong is Song Yang's beast mother and also his wife. She was the class beauty that the three of them pursued when they were in high school. It's a pity that the white moonlight in the hearts of the three people at that time finally chose the one with the least outstanding appearance, the worst talent, and the family. Song Yang, the poorest in the village, was called Lu Weixin and Xie Mingwu. After a brief greeting, the beast girls of the three gathered together, and it seemed that the three women had a good relationship. The three men gathered together to discuss how to wipe out the bandits of the plaster country and rescue the scavengers at the same time. This was also the purpose of this mission. The others also got off the car, but unlike the three of them, the people of the three guilds were divided into three groups according to the rules, and no one wanted to care about each other. Fang Cheng and the other two came to a cliff and looked forward. The estuary base was just opposite, about 1 or 2 kilometers away. Now the full picture of the base can no longer be seen, because it is full of strange beasts. Most of them are not high level and are below D level, but there are so many of them. The whole base is like an ant nest dug out, densely packed with strange beasts. So many strange beasts. Fang Cheng, do you think there are still living people in it? Mu Yunxi asked doubtfully. Fang Cheng said confidently, "Yes, and there are quite a few." Mu Yunxi looked curious. "How do you know? Did you see it?" Fang Cheng looked at him and smiled. "There is a skill called electromagnetic perception in the original magnetism. Although I can't see it, I can sense it. How to save people? If so many monsters are to be killed, how long will it take? And what if the other party kills the hostage? I heard that the people of Plaster Country are modest and reasonable on the surface, but they are all thieves and prostitutes in their hearts. They are definitely capable of killing people and killing hostages. How do you know that the bandits inside are from Plaster Country? When we were in the guild before, everyone in the hall said so. Don't you know?" Just then Song Yang found the three people. "Brother Fang, you are here. Brother Song, is your meeting over?" Song Yang nodded, then glanced at Teacher Mu and Mu Yunxi. "I have something I want to tell you. Is it convenient?" Fang Cheng smiled and said, "It's convenient, Song big brother, just speak your mind." Quote, "We just discussed 2 plans, one of which is to let you act as bait." "Let me act as bait." Reason. The reason is long. To put it simply, the people from the Plaster Country inside are doing so many things, the purpose is to get rid of you. Brother Song, are you sure? Song Yang nodded. According to Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin's speculation, this may be a conspiracy of Shen Tuao against you. They have found out that this pioneer company has been secretly acquired by the Shen Tu family some time ago. Shen Tuao wants to kill you, naturally to avenge his son. Although there is no evidence to prove that you killed Shen Tujun, for people like them, there is no need for evidence at all. As long as there is suspicion, they can kill. So they hired a group of killers from abroad to lure you out of the city and then get rid of you. So you want to use the same trick against you? Song Yang nodded. Yes. What is the other plan? Song Yang said. In addition to outsmarting, the natural way is to attack by force. Lure out the monsters and kill them bit by bit. After clearing out the monsters, clear out the people. At the same time, dispatch reinforcements to block all the entrances and exits of the estuary base. This will not only speed up the progress of clearing out the monsters, but also prevent the people inside from escaping. Fang Cheng asked, Brother Song, which plan do you think is better? Song Yang didn't even think about it, and said, I naturally prefer the second plan. After all, Sister Xiao Tang told me that this mission is just to take you through the motions. I don't want you to be criticized. It seems that Sister Xiao Tang knows the relationship between Song Yang and Xie Mingwu, Lu Weixin and the other three, and also knows that the other party will send these two people this time. To put it bluntly, they really just want to let themselves go through the motions. Fang Cheng turned around and glanced at the estuary base, his mouth slightly raised, and then said, "There is a question I don't understand. It has been 5 days since the incident happened, right? Even if the smell of blood was strong at that time, these strange beasts should have dispersed, right? You want to wait until these strange beasts disperse before taking action. I'm just curious, maybe there will be a third plan." Song Yang sighed and said, "It's impossible. They kill some people every day to bleed, and before we came here, they also carried corpses every day to attract strange beasts everywhere, otherwise how could there be so many strange beasts here? Kill every day. That's what the people who came before said, I'm not sure yet. But it's probably true, otherwise it would be like you said, these strange beasts should have dispersed long ago." Fang Cheng thought for a while and said, "In this case, let's outsmart it." Outsmart it? Song Yang looked at Fang Cheng in surprise. "Are you sure? Isn't it just a bait? Tell me how to do it specifically." "Are you really sure?" Song Yang asked again. Fang Cheng nodded. "Confirmed, because if we choose the second plan, there will be so many monsters waiting for us to kill them, and all the people inside will die too." Song Yang looked at Fang Cheng again, then nodded and said, "In this case, we will take you to lure a wave of monsters first, let them see you and know you are here, then they will definitely come to assassinate you. Is it that simple? Your task is that simple, leave the rest to us." Fang Cheng chose the second plan, and Song Yang went to find Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin, organizing people to take Fang Cheng to lure monsters. Seeing Song Nang walking away, Mu Yunxi jumped out and asked, "Fang Cheng, do you feel that there seems to be something wrong here?" Fang Cheng smiled and said, "What's the problem?" Mu Yunxi shook her head. "I don't know, but my sixth sense tells me that it will be very dangerous for you to do this." After that, she immediately added, "Song Yang just said that they analyzed that this was Shen Tuo's conspiracy against you because you killed Shen Tujun in the city youth competition, but the Shenqi Guild and the Shuangguang Guild also suffered a great loss at your hands. According to what Song Yang just said, they don't need evidence to kill someone, as long as there is suspicion, they can kill. Then the Shenqi and Shuangguang families can still use this matter to get rid of you." Fang Cheng smiled slightly. "I didn't expect you to be so smart. You thought of this." "Nonsense. So you thought of this? Then why did you agree to them?" "First, I believe in Sister Xiao Tang's vision. Song Yang must be fine. Second, it's our own strength. With the current strength of the three of us, although we can't kill them all, it's easy to defeat them, so there is no problem in protecting ourselves. With the strength to support us, we can do more things, such as killing all those fools inside. So, you also believe that this mission is a conspiracy against you by Shen Tuo?" "I believe it, but I don't know whether it's true or not." At the Heko base, Koizumi Mako is talking to someone remotely. In the video call, the other side is an old man with fluffy hair, a telescope-like artificial eye, and a white coat. "Ms. Mazi, we have tried our best, but we still have to tell you a sad news. The activation of test subject number 1 failed." Koizumi Mazi frowned, and then the other party quickly added, "But test subject number 2 has a strong desire to survive. Now all the data are normal. According to calculations, her final success rate is as high as 99.8%. Just then, someone called Koizumi Mazi's bracelet and took a look. A strange ID, and then said to the old man, "Dr. Yuzheng, I hope you won't let me down again this time." After saying that, he hung up the phone in a hurry, and then connected the strange ID, and a black shadow immediately appeared on the holographic screen. "Hello, Miss Mazi, I am here to contact you on the order of Minister Abe." "Abe is dead." "Yes, Miss Mazi, the minister is very interested in the plan you submitted before, and specially asked us to help you." "How many people are there?" "Sorry, this is a secret. I contacted you today to say that they plan to lure you into assassinating Fang Cheng, and I hope you can turn the tables." Koizumi Mazi frowned. "The eagle-slaying plan in Longguo was originally my mission, so how can I turn the tables?" The black shadow said, "I'm sorry I didn't express it clearly just now. They want to lure you out of the estuary base to assassinate Fang Cheng. At that time, I hope you can leave the base and cooperate with them. Koizumi Mazi. After hearing this, Z said unhappily, we don't have many people. Once we leave the base and lose the cover of the monsters, we will be dead. Are you asking us to die? This is Minister Abe's order. I think you are a personal opinion, right? If this is really Minister Abe's order, please show me the order. You. Koizumi Mako smiled coldly. From what you said just now, you are their man now, and there are more than one of them, right? This is confidential and I can't tell you. That's it. In fact, our goals are the same. You want to control the 3 major guilds of Dragon Country, and I want to kill the young genius of Dragon. We can cooperate. I don't see where we are consistent. Koizumi Mako smiled and said, isn't the key point all about that kid named Fang Cheng? According to my previous plan, I will first let Shen Tuao go to negotiate cooperation with them and leave evidence, then use them to kill this person, and then make Shen Tuao's identity public so as to catch their handle of colluding with the enemy. If I am not mistaken, your current identity is a member of the 3 major guilds, right? You want to kill Fang Cheng in the chaos, which means that the 3 major guilds killed him, and my previous plan has formed a closed loop. The branches of these 2 major guilds in Yucheng are now in our hands. But have you ever thought that they can also kill you to silence you? Seeing that the black shadow opposite was stunned by his words, Koizumi Mako continued, do you want to hear my plan now? Please tell me. It's very simple. It's still what you said. The difference is that we will launch a beast tide to kill everyone directly. In the end, only you will go back alive. You can say whatever you want to say then. Your plan is very good, but how sure are you that you won't kill us too? You didn't undergo prosthetic transformation. Can people with prosthetic transformation sneak into the 3 major guilds of Dragon Country? Koizumi Mako thought for a while and said, in this case, I can't guarantee that all of you will get out alive, but I will never let you all die here. As for who can go back alive, it depends on your own luck. Sister Muyao, where is Brother Xiaofeng? Song Yang asked Muyao when he found Fang Cheng's car. Can we set off? Muyao asked. Well, everyone is ready, just waiting for Brother Xiaofeng. At this time, the car door automatically popped open, and Fang Cheng sat in the car and said to Song Yang, Brother Song, come up, I have something to tell you. What's so mysterious? Song Yang had already jumped into the car while talking. At the moment when the car door closed automatically, Fang Cheng said, Brother Song, do you believe me? Song Yang nodded. To be honest, Sister Xiao Tang told me to listen to you at the critical moment. Sister Xiao Tang asked him to listen to me at the critical moment. So Song Yang should be considered Sister Xiao Tang's confidant, which made Fang Cheng's doubts suddenly less. At the same time, Fang Cheng had his own plan in mind. That's good. No matter what I say next, don't make it public, and don't tell anyone after getting off the car. An hour later, according to the plan, the 3 major guilds plus Fang Cheng circled around the hilltop of the estuary base on the opposite bank and came back. It looks like all the mercenaries before, attacking the estuary base, but found that there were too many monsters and were forced to retreat. Then Song Yang, Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin, the 3 leaders, dispatched people to set traps. Xiao San, do you think the boss's plan can work? Lu Weixin said uncertainly. Xie Mingwu said angrily, if you don't try, how can you know whether it can work or not? Do you have a better plan, second brother? Song Yang hesitated and said, I don't know whether I should say this or not. Lu Weixin was happy, and put his hand on Yang's shoulder and said with a smile, when did the third brother become so polite? If you have anything, just tell the dads. The strength of our Lingqi guild is the weakest among the 3 of us. Do you have any objection to this? Lu Weixin smiled and said, third brother, you have finally grown up. It is not easy to know that you are weak. The dads are very relieved. Song Yang was too lazy to pay attention to Lu Weixin and looked directly at Xie Mingwu. Xie Mingwu smiled and said, you have been weak for a long time. We know it even if you don't say it. Song Yang nodded. In this case, I want to retreat to the rear. I believe you should have no objection, right? Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin were stunned, and then they realized that they were fooled by Song Yang. You kid didn't grow up, you kid learned bad things, and you even cheated your fathers. But who told you to be a mistress? If you want to guard the rear, then guard the rear. Xie Mingwu thought for a while and said, Mistress, if you want to guard the rear, we will definitely take care of you, but how can you be sure that the other party will come from our side? What if they come from your side, won't your rear become the front? When we can't take care of you here, won't you be in more danger? I think it's best for you to be in the middle. If it's really like you said, that's my life. Now I ask you if you agree. Okay, you can guard anywhere you want. The three discussed again, and after making sure there were no loopholes, they began to act separately. When leaving, Song Yang hesitated for a while and said, that, you guys should be careful. Tisk, nagging, take care of yourself. Xie Mingwu said disdainfully. Song Yang said, do you remember what we said when we first teamed up to do a mission? Of course I remember, my life is the most important thing in the world. Song Yang smiled slightly. Yes, our life is the most important. After this mission is over, I will treat you to a drink. Song Yang left, but Lu Weixin looked at his back and said to Xie Mingwu with a puzzled look, Boss, do you feel that Xiao San seems to be a little bit wrong today? Xie Mingwu said disdainfully, married men are like this. They have concerns when they have a family. When they have children in the future, they will be even more timid. Lu Weixin agreed and said, that's true, but do you really not want to marry Shushu? Xie Mingwu looked around and made sure that his beast mother was not there, then whispered, she and I are just partners, why should I marry her? Shushu is a good girl. I heard that before she followed her, she had never been with other beast masters. Tisk, do you believe what she said? Are you going to marry Yinyan? Of course I won't. I'm not her first beast master. I don't need to be responsible to her, right? That's it, all right, get busy. Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin led people to guard the only intersection from the opposite side, while Song Yang led people to guard the exit behind. According to Fang Cheng's instructions, Song Yang also deliberately kept a distance from the two of them. Time passed in the blink of an eye and it was night, and the person everyone was waiting for still did not move. Song Yang and Fang Cheng stood on the roof of the car, looking at the entrance in the distance. Brother Fang, will there really be a beast tide tonight? There should be. This, can't you be sure? Fang Cheng smiled and said, Brother Song, haven't you heard that plans cannot keep up with changes? No matter how good you are at predicting things, when God wants to play with you, you can't do anything. I can only say that the probability of a beast tide tonight is very high. Then what did you infer? This is Fang Cheng's secret, and things like electromagnetic perception are naturally better if fewer people know about it. Otherwise, once more people know about it, everyone will be on guard against themselves, and the effect of electromagnetic perception will be greatly reduced. That's why he wouldn't be so stupid and show off in front of people. Guest, think about it, Lu Weixin knows how to play tricks on him, so doesn't the other party know? And their advantage now is those strange beasts. Since they can keep the strange beasts together for 5 days, they naturally have ways to drive them away for their own use. If it were you, would you leave the strange beasts unused and foolishly come here to assassinate them? Song Yang shook his cheeks. Of course not. Fang Cheng smiled and said, that's it. In that case, why can't we tell them about this? After all, we are all teammates now. Can I tell you that there are spies from the plaster country among us? No, because if I tell you, you will ask me how I know. Fang Cheng looked at Song Yang and said, I know that the three of you have a good relationship, but have you ever thought about whether you three can represent the 3 major guilds? And even if it is you, it is better to say that you believe in Sister Xiaotang than to say that you believe in me, let alone the 2 of them. Why bother to say something that no one will believe anyway? The ground suddenly shook, and Song Yang looked at Fang Cheng in surprise, as if asking, did you really get it right? Fang Cheng asked, Brother Song, do you think it is a beast tide or an earthquake? Song Yang didn't have the heart to talk to Fang Cheng at this time, and jumped off the roof of the car to appease everyone and prepare for the battle. If the beast tide really came, Lu Weixin and Xie Mingwu's people would not be able to stop it. As soon as Song Yang left, Teacher Mu and Mu Yunxi jumped onto the roof of the car, protecting Fang Cheng on the left and right, and the 2 of them observed the entire battlefield with their eyes and ears. Soon, the strange beasts rushed in from the 2 small hills in front like a flood. Lu Weixin and Xie Mingwu were dumbfounded at the time. How could there be a tide of beasts? At the same time, they felt that they were tricked by Song Yang. But it was too late to say anything now. All the weapons on the tanks, whether they were particle cannons or small guided bombs, fired at the beasts. At the same time, the personnel retreated behind the tanks and prepared to fight. Captain Xiaokong and the others are gone. At the same time, several people in Lu Weixin's team also disappeared. But now facing the strange beasts so close, he has no time to care about these things. Any distraction now is irresponsible to himself. Fang Cheng stood quietly on the roof of the car, looking at the battlefield filled with death in front of him with a cold look. In the darkness, a group of strange beasts surged out from between two small hills like a tide. They were like a group of hairless monkeys, with wrinkled skin glowing with a disgusting luster and limbs twisted and weird. The dense figures were like the embodiment of a nightmare. They let out sharp and piercing screams, as if they were the devil's voice from hell, which made people's scalps numb and their stomachs churn. Suddenly, the plasma cannon on the chariot in front sprayed out dazzling light, accompanied by the humming sound of the beam vibration, and the shells streaked across the night sky like meteors, smashing into the group of alien beasts fiercely. In an instant, flames shot up into the sky, blood and flesh flew everywhere, and the smell of burning spread. However, the alien beasts seemed to be stimulated by the blood and became more crazy, and continued to charge forward regardless of everything. Soon, the two sides came into close combat. The shouts, screams, and screams of the alien beasts intertwined together, playing a cruel symphony of death. Blood dyed the earth red, broken limbs and arms were flying everywhere. In this bloody battlefield, life was as fragile as an ant, being devoured mercilessly, as if there would never be an end. As the chariots were overturned one by one, Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin's troops began to gather in the middle. In fact, the levels of these beasts were not high, all between D and E, and it was obvious that these beasts were not good at defense. However, there were huge numbers, great strength, and fast speed. Usually, when they hunted such beasts, the number of beasts was at most 5 times their own, which was already the limit. But now the number of beasts is dozens of times, hundreds of times, or even thousands of times their own. According to Fang Cheng's previous plan, he wanted to use this opportunity to make these two guilds suffer a big loss. This was a normal operation between the 3 major guilds, and there was nothing to say. In the end, Song Yang couldn't stand it anymore and ordered all the plasma cannons on the chariots to fire to buy time for Lu Weixin and Xie Mingwu in front. Only if they unite and gather together to reduce the contact area with the alien beasts, can they avoid being wiped out. But even so, there will definitely not be many people who can survive in the end. Fang Cheng wanted to stop him, but he slowly put his hand down after raising it. He understood the truth that kindness cannot be used to command troops and righteousness cannot be used to command wealth, but he couldn't be so cold-blooded now. Then Song Yang ran to Fang Cheng and said, "Fang Cheng, the alien beasts are coming soon, you should evacuate here quickly." This is what Fang Cheng wanted to say to him. Although the Lingqi guild was behind, it was not far away. As soon as Lu Weixin and Xie Mingwu in front of him shrank their formation, the alien beasts would immediately rush to the front of the Lingqi guild. While Xie Mingwu and Lu Weixin were blocking in front, Song Yang quickly led his men to retreat. It was better to die than to die. But looking at Song Yang's appearance, he didn't seem to want to leave now. "What about you?" Fang Cheng asked. "I'm going to save people." "Are you sure you're going to save people, not to die?" "Brothers of many years, if you just leave like this, I will feel guilty for the rest of my life." Now that time is running out, Fang Cheng is too lazy to persuade him anymore, and just reminds him, "Remember that they may be your brothers, but the people on the other side may not all be your allies. In short, you should be more careful." Seeing Song Yang nod, Fang Cheng was ready to get on the car with Teacher Mew and the others, regardless of whether he listened or not, but after thinking about it, he left the chariot to Song Yang. This car cost more than 10 million, and 3 days of copying was wasted. After all, as Song Yang said, it can make him feel more at ease. Fang Cheng left with Teacher Mew and the others, and Song Yang took the rest of the people, drove the chariot to the beast group, trying to meet up with Xie Mingwu and the others. Fang Cheng left the group when he left, which undoubtedly gave Koizumi Meiko and the others a chance. "Fang Cheng, are we really going to leave? I don't know if Mu Yunxi has a violent tendency or is infected by Song Yang's brotherhood." Looking at her, She actually wants to rush back and fight the monsters with everyone. Fang Cheng nodded without explaining, just concentrating on hurrying on. Soon someone caught up with him. Is that brother Fang Cheng in front? Fang Cheng looked back and saw 6 people from the Lingqi Guild. They looked familiar, but he didn't know their names. When the man saw Fang Cheng stop, he said happily, I am Zhu Er. We have met before, you won't forget it, right? Fang Cheng asked. How did you get here? Brother Song was worried about you and asked us to take you a ride. Brother Song is really thoughtful. Let's go quickly. The strange beasts are coming soon. When Fang Cheng turned around, he winked at Mu Yunxi and Teacher Mu. Teacher Mu immediately understood what Fang Cheng meant, but Mu Yunxi looked confused. There was no other way, so Fang Cheng had to use the contract to send her a message. Be careful, these 6 guys are not right. Almost at the moment when Fang Cheng sent the message, Zhu Er and his men came from behind with their knives. When Fang Cheng just turned around, he drew his knife and attacked unexpectedly. The timing was very good. Seeing that Zhu Er's knife was about to split Fang Cheng's head, Fang Cheng's back of the head seemed to have eyes, and he took a step forward in an instant, turned around and snatched the blade from Zhu Er with his bare hands. Then Fang Cheng put the knife on Zhu Er's neck and sneered, Brother Zhu Er, what are you doing? Zhu Er was shocked. Fang Cheng's strength was seriously inconsistent with the intelligence given by the above. According to the intelligence, Fang Cheng was just a newly promoted D-level Beastmaster. He was a C-level Beastmaster, but he took the knife back from him when he attacked him, and the knife was put on his neck. Only then did he realize that this was the strength that a D-level Beastmaster could have. Fang Cheng glanced at the beast girl beside him and his companions. At this time, the other party had drawn their knives and the beast girl had transformed. The few people who were about to take action were stunned by this sudden change. Brother Fang Cheng, it's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. I just took out the knife, maybe I scared you. Oh, it's a misunderstanding. Yes, misunderstanding. The other 3 also subconsciously echoed, with awkward smiles on their faces, and the smiles were so stiff. Okay, in order to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings, you go in front and we go behind. The few people looked at each other and felt that Fang Cheng didn't know anyway that he had fallen into a trap, and everyone was an acquaintance, so he shouldn't do it before they did it. In fact, what they thought was not wrong. Generally, young people who just walked out of school don't want to cause trouble. So Zhu Er and the others walked to the front, and at the same time they winked at each other, as if asking the boy what to do next now that he was on guard. However, next, Zhu Er saw a bloody knife tip spurting out from his heart. When Mu Yunxi and Teacher Mu saw Fang Cheng taking action, Mu Yunxi rushed out like a red ghost, slashed a beast girl to death with her left hand, and turned around and slashed her beastmaster to death with her backhand. When she returned to Fang Cheng, Teacher Mu shot an arrow, hitting Zhu Er's beast girl and the other 2. With the blessing of Yi Mu Ling Guangzan, the arrow passed through their necks like a half moon, taking their heads away. Fang Cheng, how do you know they have problems? Fang Cheng suddenly raised his hand to interrupt Mu Yunxi's words, motioning her to be quiet. He closed his eyes and sensed it carefully, and suddenly looked at the hill not far away and said, this way. Koizumi Mako led his men into the herd and rushed out of the estuary base. After the strange beasts fought with Xie Mingwu, Lu Weixin and others, they quietly moved outside the battlefield. Then they joined the 8 people led by the Black Shadow. Why do you only have so few people? When Koizumi Mako saw that there were only 8 of them, she was unhappy. With just these few people, you want to kill Fang Cheng? I really don't know what Minister Abe is thinking. The leading Black Shadow was called Anuehara. He rushed all the way from the beast group to here, almost exhausted, panting and pointing at the battlefield behind him, saying, all died in it. Of course, there were more than just these few people, but they just didn't run out. Waste. I knew about your business a long time ago, and you can still do this. You are really a bunch of useless waste. It seems that at the critical moment, we have to rely on our Sakurayama group. Anuehara was unhappy when he heard this, because their previous plan was not like this. It was Koizumi Mako who insisted on changing the plan. If she hadn't insisted on triggering a beast tide to kill people, would his subordinates have died? Ms. Mako, are you questioning Minister Abe's decision? And as far as I know, Minister Abe has not agreed to your plan yet. You are acting on your own initiative. It is because of your own initiative that my subordinates died. You must bear all the responsibility for this. Koizumi Mako was also very angry. The situation on the scene was ever-changing and the opportunity was fleeting. If she really waited until Minister Abe made a decision, it would be too late. Hey, that's what a man is like. He has no responsibility at all. I don't have responsibility, but you do. Then you should take all the responsibility. What do you think, Miss Mozzie? Shut up. The most urgent task now is to kill Fang Cheng so that we can continue our plan, not to listen to your complaints here. Anuehara said in the same unpleasant tone, then go ahead. Fang Cheng is over there. He has 50 experts from the Spiritual Contract Guild protecting him. I wish you success. My colleague, I don't think we should act on impulse like this. Otherwise, if the mission fails, Minister Abe will not care whose responsibility it is. He will not let anyone who participates in the operation go. What Koizumi Mozzie said made sense. Anuehara could only temporarily suppress his anger. Let's wait and see how they respond next. Then we will look for opportunities. Anyway, with so few people like us now, we can't kill him. At this moment, Song Yang ordered the chariots of the Spiritual Contract Guild to fire, and then he led people to join the battle. Koizumi Mako's eyes lit up. Fang Cheng doesn't seem to have participated in the battle. Inoue Uenya immediately wiped away the unhappiness in his heart. Miss Mako, our chance has come, let's chase him. Tell your people in the Lingqi Guild to hold that guy first, and we will go around from this side. If they rush over directly, Song Yang and the others will definitely find out, and then they will kill him back, and no one will be happy. They can only wait for Fang Cheng to run away first, but not too far, otherwise he will get lost, so they have to arrange someone to hold him back first. Even if they can't hold him back, they must report his location in time to facilitate their pursuit. But what Koizumi Mako didn't expect was that they just climbed over the hill in front of them and ran into a group of mercenaries. It was during the day when Fang Cheng and his men ran into the Red Scorpion mercenary group here. In addition, there were mercenaries from 3 other groups, with a total of about 60 to 70 people. Before the 3 major guilds arrived here, they launched an attack on the estuary base together. At that time, the number of people was much larger than now, with more than a dozen mercenary groups, totaling 300 to 400 people. As a result, they were almost trapped by Koizumi Mako using those strange beasts. In the end, some died and some were captured, and they were the only ones who escaped. But they were unwilling to leave like this. First, there were teammates trapped in the base, and second, they knew that people from the 3 major guilds would arrive soon, and they might have a chance to rescue their teammates in the base and get a share of the task. To put it bluntly, they wanted to fish in troubled waters. Before they saw Koizumi Mako, everything was going in a good direction for them. The bandits in the estuary base triggered a beast tide, which was equivalent to clearing the strange beasts from the base. At the same time, the 3 major guilds that were the first to bear the brunt would definitely be greatly reduced in strength even if they could survive. By then, they would become the main force, and the 3 major guilds would become soy sauce, or even cannon fodder. But Koizumi Mozzie appeared, and her appearance caught these people off guard. The mercenaries thought they were people who escaped from the 3 major guilds, and Koizumi Mozzie thought she was ambushed by the 3 major guilds. Anyway, they all felt that they could not beat the other party, so they subconsciously wanted to escape. The bad thing was that the mercenaries moved too fast. This was their instinctive reaction to avoid danger and seek good fortune. Even running away was much faster than others. As a result, Koizumi Mozzie reacted later and saw that the other party ran away when they saw her. How could this be an ambush by the 3 major guilds? It must be the mercenaries who came to take advantage of the situation in the past few days. Although many were captured and killed, many also ran away. Since you want to run now, I will take your life while you run. Kill all of them, and don't leave any alive. At this time, the mercenaries who were running forward were all stunned. Outsiders. What outsiders? Can't you tell from the plaster country? Have you read all those study materials in vain? Yamedai, cool and cool. Do they look like me? Yes. Then why run? If people knew that I was running with my tail between my legs in front of a group of plaster country people today, they would be laughed to death. What do you mean by laughing to death? Even our ancestors would be pissed off by us. Kill them to death. They couldn't beat the three major guilds, but if they met the people from the plaster country, they would fight them to the end even if they died. The group of Koizumi Mako who was chasing them from behind thought that they could do the same as last time, with more than 30 people chasing more than 100 Dragon Country mercenaries and killing them all, without any casualties on their side. So they all thought about making persistent efforts and creating more glory. As a result, the mercenaries in front suddenly came back. Koizumi Mako was stunned. What happened? Why did these Dragon Country mercenaries still have the courage to come back? What went wrong? As soon as the two sides fought, it was either you or me. The mercenaries' brutal nature was fully demonstrated at this moment. Although all the mercenaries were injured and their strength was not as good as the group of professionals led by Koizumi Mako, the mercenaries dared to exchange injuries for injuries and lives for lives, and they could not lose face. In short, as long as they met the people of Plaster Country on the battlefield, the Dragon Country mercenaries would awaken a bloodline buff madness. The same is true for Beast Girls. Although they are a group of women, they also dare to self-destruct with a steel body. My claws can't break your defense, so I will blow you to death. A flesh and blood body like Inoue found that the strength of these mercenaries was just so as soon as they fought. It was a matter of time to kill them one by one. As a result, he stabbed in the knife but couldn't pull it out. He looked down and found that the knife was caught, and the man was still laughing. Inoue thought he was already perverted enough. How could this passerby in front of him be even more perverted than him? You are about to die, what are you laughing at? Of course he had to laugh, because he saw that his companions could immediately cut the fool in front of him into pieces. Koizumi Mako and the others could still rely on their iron bodies to hold on, but Inoue and the others were not so lucky. They were all cut into pieces in less than a minute. Major, these Dragon Country people are crazy, let's retreat. The deadly attack was a disaster. At first, they could slaughter a group of unarmed scavengers in the most cruel and vicious way, like demons crawling out of hell. But now, these demons are full of fear. Just now, they saw with their own eyes that a dragon beast girl who looked delicate actually blew up with their colleagues. Although their colleagues were not killed, because they had all been transformed, only the brain was their own. Even if the body was blown into pieces, as long as the brain was not damaged, they could still survive by picking it up and inserting it into a new body. Although I thought so, it was still equally terrifying to see my colleagues being blown to pieces. Just when Koizumi Mako was hesitating whether to retreat, Fang Cheng arrived with Teacher Mew and the others. Xiao Fang is the group of people in the video. Teacher Mew and Mu Yunshi had also seen the video of the bandits slaughtering the scavengers in the guild hall. Although the appearance was blurry, the bodies were easy to recognize, and they were all prosthetics. Mu Yunshi didn't say a word. After confirming that it was this group of people, she killed them directly. The figure was like a long red rainbow, which looked particularly gorgeous under the moonlight, and it was terrifying. As soon as he went over, he removed a person's steel arm. The cut was smooth and there were sparks left by the high-speed cutting. His posture was dashing and reckless. Koizumi Mako, who was still hesitating whether to retreat, rekindled the flames of greed and determination in her eyes when she saw Fang Cheng. No matter how many people died next, even if they were all dead. As long as she could kill Fang Cheng and complete this mission, she would create an unprecedented miracle and put a perfect end to her mission. Imagine that she could ignore the three major guilds and hundreds of mercenaries of Longguo and still successfully kill the target. What would the people of Longguo do when they knew this news? That is, there is no one that I, Koizumi Mako, cannot kill. In the future, she will become the nightmare and shame of all the people of Longguo. At this moment, an almost crazy smile appeared on her face, and her eyes were full of ecstasy. As if she had seen the glory of standing at the top, her heart was full of joy and satisfaction. She couldn't wait to order everyone to quickly leave the battlefield and surround Fang Cheng on the hillside. Bang bang bang. As clouds of smoke exploded on the battlefield, the spies of Plaster Country who were fighting with the mercenaries just now disappeared in an instant. When they appeared again, they had already landed around Fang Cheng. Then everyone bit a dagger-like kunai in their mouths, dragged a knife in their hands, and squatted slightly. The energy in the prosthesis was accumulated to the extreme, like a cheetah ready to go. Their eyes were like cold venomous snakes, fixed on Fang Cheng. There was no emotion in their eyes, only endless coldness and determination. The next moment, with a burst of mechanical explosions, the legs suddenly exerted force to lift the grass, so fast that afterimages appeared, and a pair of arms seemed to be dislocated, floating in the wind behind them. Facing such a group of aggressive plaster state spies, Fang Cheng stood there quietly, as steady as a towering mountain. There was no panic on his face, his eyes were deep and calm, like a lake without ripples. He just calmly watched them rushing over, stretched out his hand to press the supernatural bow that Teacher Mew had already pulled, and there was even a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. That smile seemed to contain disdain for those dwarf mules and absolute confidence in his own strength. In Koizumi Mako's eyes, this kind of confidence was no different from being scared silly. Go to hell, Fang Cheng, you will draw the most perfect end to my trip to Dragon Country this time, and become a stepping stone for me to reach the top. Fang Cheng moved, quickly drew out the knife, and at the moment the long knife was unsheathed, the blade was surrounded by lightning, and then he struggled to stab it into the ground. Drawing the knife and stabbing the ground in one go, followed by a gorgeous sky full of lightning, illuminating the entire night sky. A group of mechanical things, when they met me, they didn't even open the plasma shield. Isn't this looking for death? This sky full of lightning is just the boy's mentality to pretend in front of others, and it is also to cover up his real killer move, the magnetic explosion technique released in secret. After making sure that none of them could escape his attack range, the magnetic explosion suddenly erupted. As the invisible magnetic explosion swept across the battlefield, Koizumi Mako and her men stalled one after another, scrambling to the ground like a plow that had lost power, relying on inertia plowed deep grooves on the ground, with Fang as the center, extending towards him. Koizumi Mako climbed up with difficulty, or to be more precise, she only raised her upper body, and the expression on her face changed from greedy desire to incredible astonishment in an instant. Her mouth was wide open, but she couldn't make a sound. Her previous ambition seemed to have become a ridiculous joke at this moment, and her heart was full of shock and despair. She wanted to attack again like crazy, but her body didn't listen to her. Her eyes gradually became dull from crazy, and her body trembled, as if she was in an ice cellar. How could this happen? How could this happen? She murmured to herself. Her mind was blank, and the hope she had thought of was instantly shattered, replaced by endless pain and self-doubt. Fang Cheng found her in the crowd and smiled disdainfully. Oh, there is actually someone there who can move. It seems that the transformation is not thorough. According to Sister Xiao Tang, people like this in Plaster Country generally have some talent and are unwilling to entrust their future to prostheses. But at the same time, they are unwilling to be buried by other prostheses in the early stage, so they thought of a way to straddle two boats. They want the power of humans and the power of prostheses. The result is naturally that they grab nothing with both hands. Fang Cheng picked up the knife from the ground and was about to go forward to take a look, but was pulled by Teacher Mew. Xiao Fang, be careful, there is a trap. Fang Cheng nodded, walked over and looked down at Xiaochuan Mazi, patted her face with the knife and said, you should be their leader, what's your name? Xiaochuan Mazi's face flushed red, shame and anger intertwined, but now her prosthesis control chip was burned. She was a waste, and she could only grit her teeth and endure the humiliation in Fang Cheng's words. If you don't speak, I'll kill you. Fang Cheng's words seemed to suddenly wake up Koizumi Mako. She suddenly looked up at Fang Cheng and said in poor Dragon Country dialect, you can't kill me. I'm from Plaster Country. I have diplomatic immunity. It would have been fine if Koizumi Mako didn't mention diplomatic immunity. Fang Cheng got angry when he mentioned it and cut off one of his arms with a knife. Huh, why didn't you hear a scream? Then I remembered that this guy's limbs were all fake. So he squatted down again and slapped her hard on the face. This face shouldn't be fake. Sure enough, after the slap, her face began to turn red and purple at a speed visible to the naked eye, and swelled up quickly. Koizumi Mako spat out a mouthful of bloody teeth and spoke with a lisp. My name is Koizumi Mako, the leader of the Sakurayama group of the Chrysanthemum Pattern Confidential section of the Plaster Country, the Eagle Slashing Special Operations Department. You fool, I have to beat you before I can speak. Who is your accomplice? How many accomplices do you have in Yucheng? It turns out that they are a group of beasts who are extremely vicious when they are in power, and wag their tails and beg for mercy like dogs who have lost their homes when they lose power. Koizumi Mako was dissatisfied. I am a man who knows the current situation. No accomplices, really no. Before she finished her words, Fang Cheng's palm was raised again, and she immediately changed her words in fear. It was Shintuao and the Shintu family. All the accomplices were just killed by you. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.